No audio like a typical Seamus boomer. Hey Birdie, Yesy, Ian, what's going on, Hillbilly? Cringy, cringy, still no sound? Still no sound? I think there's sound now. Can't hear me? You still can't hear me? No audio like a typical... Okay, there we go. There you go. Sorry, that's got to be loud. I was listening to some videos. I apologize. I was listening to some videos earlier. I'm trying to get I'm listening to the interviews really closely, and there's like, you have to, for those early interviews that were done, I think it was the 6 o'clock or the 4 o'clock update, 6 o'clock update with Leather on the 19th. And you can't hear any of the questions. It's very poorly done, but there's some interesting things in there, and I'm going to get to that at some point. Probably not today. Anyways, I almost got killed by a T-bone falling out of my freezer. You know, I'm expecting something else to befall me at some point here. Probably not a T-bone though. So I was. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing well? So something interesting came up. I missed Tara's video. I don't know if you guys are subscribed over on her channel. She has her own channel, which is, of course, how, well, I don't think she had a channel when I first met her, but let's see, we'll share her screen here. Faith Goldies. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting your stuff. Thanks for coming over. So she has her own channel, Can, and she put out a video, which I'm going to simulcast. Well, not simulcast, I guess it's delayed, but because I went to go and download it, and I used a little, thing, and it wouldn't let me download it. And I was like, okay, that happens from time to time. But then I started to use other online downloading tools, and I couldn't get it downloaded. It won't let me download her video, which is really strange. Like, she does nothing wrong. Anyway, so I was going to play her video. So her channel is, I'll link it, let's see here, below. And I'm going to talk a little bit about her stuff. So she took down her videos that she had previously. I think she discussed that the other night, right? If any of you happen to catch that last video, I think it was I did. She was on, she was talking about the GoFundMe, and she was talking about the RCMP, and how they had kind of said to her, she'd already taken her video down by that point, but she did make a video that was a little bit questionable when she was very upset in the heat of the moment, and so they phoned her and threatened to charge her. What news? Exactly, East Coast. What news? Jesus. Anyway, so I couldn't download her video, and there's nothing in there. I don't think that is bad. I didn't get any kind of warning, so I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it. And hey, Camo, what's going on? I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna just sit here and watch it with you, because if they don't want to let her video go through for other people to download, that's just poor. That's just poor. And also, I've linked the donation information in the box below for her GoFundMe. Now, I am not one to ever have asked for money. I never have. I just don't. I don't. But this is a very worthwhile cause, I feel, to establish her kinship, just for her own peace of mind as her brother has passed away. And lawyers are expensive. We all know that, right? And so I think it's a worthwhile cause. It's something that I have a little bit of involvement on, the sense that I have been in communication with the lawyer. The lawyer, Tara, forwarded me the email today from the lawyer, and he's going to be holding the money in trust. So this money is not going to some, I don't know, Corvette fund off in the middle of nowhere. You have to wait for the chat log to go up and then download. Oh, is this more boomer, Ian? Is that what you're telling me? Well, we'll play her thing anyways. We can watch it together. Plus, I can add a couple of details because I did go through today, and I'm not going to bash on the other family at all who's involved in this, because that's their thing and they're doing their thing. But Colchester County is paying for the funerals, and up to $5,000. And I would assume that's for each victim, right? So $15,000. And her family did raise a lot of money and did deny Tara any kind of... I'm not sure what all that's about. And I really honestly don't want to pick fights with people. Whatever everybody does is their own business, but I do believe that Tara does have the right to establish kinship with her own brother. So, I like this little picture here at the CBC. It's kind of cute. Do you guys remember this from cartoons when you were a kid? Hard Times, season 3, coming out, coming at you. East Coast, everybody hopefully watches that stuff. It's funny. He's got a great sense of humor. Yeah, and this isn't about, it's whatever. If you can donate, you can donate, and if you can't, you can't. I think, funnily enough, if you send the money via e-transfer, which I said again, I think is going into, I can read you the exact email from the lawyer. Hopefully I'm not violating any policy. I grew up in a family of, everybody's lawyers in my family, so, I gotta watch confidentiality. I can't tell you advice on this. Oh my God, it was terrible. Anybody who has a family of lawyers, especially if everybody in your family is lawyers, like everybody, it's a problem. And when they get divorced, it's even more fun. Let me tell you that. So he's just talking about the establishment of being the executor, And he said, finally, we discussed the fact that you have raised money on a GoFundMe to assist your legal fees. I can accept that money and deposit it in our firm's trust for the time being. And so he wants to have the wording of the appeal, and so that the money is not used for any other purpose than what you have told it to be. Very good. So it's all on the up and up. And I feel very good about helping out a friend who needs some help. Sister C, anti-Zionist content. Sorry? What's that? YouTube don't like that. Who? I don't think she said anything anti-Zionist. I know this channel sometimes has mentioned a few things about that, something of that effect. Maybe, just maybe. Anyways, let's get our popcorn, watch Tara, and I've left the information in the box below for her appeal on the GoFundMe. And like I said, I think if you send the money via e-transfer, you're not going to get dinged all kinds of fees. I play that video. Okay, I will. Just one moment. You won't get dinged. I'm trying to save money for people, hillbilly. Isn't that a good thing? if you send the money via e-transfer, you don't get dinged all these fees. I had to pay whack, and I found out, funnily enough, she has to pay a whack when she then, if she was to take that out, right? She's got to pay a whole bunch of money. So they're getting like 30% of your donation or something ridiculous. I think it was 15% on my end, at least. Anyways, here, let's listen to the video.
This is my very first time ever doing this, so I apologize if it's not working out correctly or if it looks all funkified or anything like that. I have been told to not really make any videos recently, or, with all this stuff going on. But I have a couple of things to say, and one of them is thank you. But there's not enough thank yous for all the people who've come out of the woodwork. Some people I knew already were dear friends of mine, like Little Gray Cells and Just My Stupid Opinion. And then in addition, like people I don't even know. Hey, Ozzy.
Is there no audio? Oh my fuck.
One of his baby pictures.
Why is it not? Oh, have I got it running through Mozilla? Is that the problem? Oh my god. Seamus, get it together, sir. Just get it together. Get it together. Let's see, what do we got over here? YouTube. I think it comes through only on Chrome or something nonsense. Oh, what is this? I was watching something bad. It's gone. Everything I watch is gone. It's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, no, it must be that it's coming through my microphone rather than, I don't know. Let's try Concan. Really sad I missed her stream, but of course YouTube doesn't want to tell you anything any other time. And no, it's not because I don't have it dinged. Ding the bell always, eh? Ding, ding. You can ding the bell on my channel too if you haven't. Just saying. Just saying. What news? Is What News still here? Or did he go away? Let's try this one. Let me know.
Hi there. This is my very first time ever doing this, so
Is it working? Is it working?
I apologize if it's not working out correctly or if it looks all funkified or anything like that. I have been told to not really make any videos recently, or, with all this stuff going on. But I have a couple of things to say, and one of them is thank you. But there's not enough thank yous for all the people who've come out of the woodwork. Some people I knew already were dear friends of mine, like Little Gray Cells and Just My Stupid Opinion. And then in addition, like people I don't even know. Hey, Ozzy. Hi. Such as yourself, Ozzy, came out of the woodwork to just help me. And like, I don't know, other than that I am extremely blessed, how I got surrounded by this caliber of people, like, who are just genuine. Hey, Nani, how's it going? Genuine people who just want to help and do the right thing. I finally got in touch with. Let me just start at the beginning. I'm trying to know. I'm not going to go into like politics, or not politics. Like tinfoil hat crap, and I could. There's a lot, but you guys already know. What I really want to do is try to explain the situation with my GoFundMe page. And I am not good at streaming, and so I wanted to kind of explain the situation here. My brother, Aaron, pictures out in the living room. Aaron, this is one of his baby pictures. Aaron Tuck, my brother, who was murdered in Portapic on the 19th, along with his daughter, Emily. That was a picture from their house in Alberta. Hey, Adrian. Hey, dude. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you. And it seems like a lot of people are doubting that I actually am my brother's sister. This is a picture of Emily when she was 10 that Aaron mailed to me. His address was on there. He mailed to me in when I lived in Earl Grey. We were really, really close. Like, we were as close as two siblings could be. I have pictures of us at my grandparents' house. I know you do. Just my stupid opinion. I can't get over how much support I have. Like, I'm blessed. There's not enough gratitude for me to even express it. I know I don't do a very good job expressing it, but I did get a hold of a lawyer today, thanks to Seamus, who worked endlessly to try. Hi, Kelly. I love your photo, by the way. Seamus, who worked his ass off to get me a lawyer. Like, I was turned down by a few lawyers, and it was really hard. And at this point, I know Aaron. I think, from what I've been told, Aaron's body has been cremated. I've been told I'm not entitled to an autopsy. Copy of the autopsy, even though I understand. I know, yay, lawyer, right? Yay. He's only going to help me with the next of kin thing, which is fine. I don't know how the rest of it goes, but my understanding is once I have that established, then everything else technically should fall into place, I hope, as far as finding out information and the estate and so on and so forth. The lawyer is going to keep all the email transfers and the GoFundMe donations, and anything that gets left over. I don't really know what happens to it. Some people say it goes back to the people. But yeah, wrongful death lawsuit, something about class actions. But honestly, I'm not even looking at that right now. I'm trying to just get the next of kin. But what I wanted to do is kind of go over the GoFundMe page that those guys have. And I'm not really sure. Alain Begin, and he's got a really great background. Okay, that is awesome. Alain Begin. Okay, that's good. Good. You guys are unreal. Honestly, you're just amazing. But have you guys looked at the GoFundMe page on the other side? Because to me, I find it pretty concerning. I don't know if you can see my screen. I've never done a stream like this before, so I'm going to read it. It was put together by Tammy Oliver McCurdy, who is Jolene's sister.
I'm just going to pause that for a minute about Alain Begin. Somebody said, I guess, in her chat about Alain Begin, which is rather interesting because Alain Begin isn't the lawyer that's going to be representing her for her estate, but Alain Begin is the judge in the case to do with why is it still playing? Oh yeah, in the case to do with the media suppression, the RCMP suppression of warrants. So it was interesting somebody said that. They can't represent her, and they're a judge, but very good judge by the sounds of it.
Sister. It says, my sister Jolene, 39, Emily, Niece Emily Tuck, 17, and brother-in-law Aaron Tuck, 45, were killed in their home during the Nova Scotia shooting on April 18th, 19th. I think it was 19th, 20th, but I could be wrong. The remaining family, including Jolene's parents and siblings, are all in Alberta, and we need to absorb the great costs incurred to bringing these family members home from Nova Scotia to Alberta and arrange a memorial in Nova Scotia and another in Alberta for family. So the remaining family, the way they say it, is like as if there's nobody else. Our family will need to deal with and pay for everything this will entail. Aaron and Jolene were struggling financially, which was true. I've lent them money myself. Struggling financially, and Aaron's family is unable to assist as both Aaron's parents are deceased. Well, it is true both of Aaron's parents are deceased. Actually, all of Aaron's parents are deceased. Our birth mother is deceased. Both of his adoptive parents are deceased. And the man that his adoptive mom, Gloria, married after she divorced Bruce is also passed. His name is Angus. What they deliberately avoid mentioning, it says here, we are trying not to burden my parents as my dad has MS. We will need to travel and deal with their personal affairs, transport our family members' remains, and facilitate 3 memorials in 2 provinces. Let's see. Just trying to go through here. So initially, so what they did was avoid the fact that I'm alive. I'm a blood sister to Aaron. My child is alive. Aaron and I have 2 living uncles and a maternal grandmother. So within this GoFundMe page, as far as I can tell, they're implying that they are responsible for everything and that, they need this in order to cover all these costs. Oh, lots of people came. Christian, Binks, Hillbilly. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've never done this before. I'm kind of excited that I can see the chat and talk to everyone at the same time. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yes, that's interesting. Sorry to pause the video there. The Terra GoFundMe page is down. What is that all about? I wonder if it got taken down. She never messaged me anything about that. I wonder if she knows. I messaged her before I came on, and I thought she was, it's a bit late, so I didn't know if she was going to be awake or not. GoFundMe must have taken this down. Because the lawyer is still, like I said, I got an email from the lawyer today indicating that he needs some more information on it. This is very odd. I don't know. So I guess the e-transfer method is still there, I would assume. I would assume. So that was the one that was up on Saturday. I wonder if there's a cached version of it. Let's see here. Let's have a look here. What was it called? Nova Scotia Tragedy? Nova Scotia Tragedy. Oh, I misspelled it. GoFundMe. Here it is. I wonder, did I have the wrong? Something's changed then. This is interesting. Okay, well, I will edit the GoFundMe information. Again, here's the, I don't know what happened. Well, I clicked on the link and it's down. So this one is the link that I hope this is her. Jesus. Let's see. I think my donation should be there. Shay's is there. Ian's is there. No, mine's there. So this must be, I don't know if they just changed the URL. That's weird. Okay, anyway, I will fix the URL and all the other videos again. So anyway, we'll continue. Sorry about that.
When I was on the other page, could you guys see what I was reading, or could you just see me reading it? On the handgun ban. I know he went ahead and banned all the long guns. How about we ban people driving around cop cars? I don't know. How about we ban
Hey, Faye.
Just saw me. Okay, fair enough. Good enough. Thank you so much.
Missy.
Yeah, there's just too much. But I've been struggling. Like, I've been trying to get my GoFundMe page shared. And actually, I should put the link there. I'm not even do that. To get my GoFundMe page shared in order that I can pay for this lawyer that I am so grateful to finally have. But I mean, this was like 2 weeks ago almost, or yeah. And I mean, so many things have gone. The cremation is already done. I had no say in that. Hi, Faye. Oh my gosh. Hugs to everyone. Thank you so much. That's the GoFundMe page. Now, those guys I'm having challenges with. They keep pausing my ability to take money out, even though I haven't actually tried to take money out. They put it there automatically in my bank account, and then they give me shit because there's money going out. So, yeah, and they still haven't put up my GoFundMe page on the Colchester County thing. The lady messaged me a note that said, what's a permit page? I'm so sorry. Like, I'm totally not cool or hip or in the know of any of this stuff. Like, I'm lucky I got streaming. So I'll try to figure that out for sure. The other thing is I know there's so many scams, but the administration on the Colchester County page, I sent her my page like probably a week ago, and she said it had to be thank you for your understanding. I promise to be better trained in the future. They said they had to get it verified, and that was like a week ago. So Faye, the lawyer is because, so what happened is that Aaron and I have the same birth mother. He's older than me. When he was born, our mother put him up for adoption to some family friends. His dad, unbeknownst to his mom, adoptive parents, was bringing him to visit us. And so I got to know Aaron, but I didn't know he was my brother. We hung around, we went fishing and all that sort of stuff. And then his adoptive parents got divorced. And so I never saw him again until I found him when I was 16 and he was 19. Immediately we were inseparable. Like, I moved to London, Ontario with my mom from Nova Scotia. He moved up there and lived with us. And then we moved to Boston Bar, British Columbia, a small town no one's ever heard of. And he lived there with us. Like, we were inseparable. I was supposed to be living on that property. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Thank you so much. I was supposed to be living on that property with Aaron and his family. Like, it's not just Aaron. Aaron and Jolene have been together for like 20 some odd years. I love Jolene. She was like a sister to me. I spent as much time on the phone with her as I did with Aaron. Emily came to my house and hung out with me after my car accident and helped me with Charlie. I mean, I can't even believe that I've been omitted from my brother's life. So Faye, what the lawyer is for is that I have to prove that my brother is my brother. Because right now, I'm nowhere on the next of kin documents. I'm nowhere. I don't exist. And so when I phone the RCMP, they tell me to, I have a recorded phone call from the RCMP telling me, oh, thank you so much. Oh, yes, there's their GoFundMe page. Initially, they were asking for 10,000, and then they got up to 75 that they were asking for, and now they have over 90. I don't know what for, because Colchester County said they're paying for the funerals, and all these people are being cremated. So I don't know what they.
Which is totally true. $5,000 per person. Colchester is paying for the funeral, and they're getting cremated. So she's absolutely right.
Need all this money for. Somebody in the chat on Little Gray Cells the other night said that they had confirmation that Tammy, and I don't have I don't know this, I just heard it, that they were using it because her business was sinking, and they were using some of the money to help support their family, which.
Yeah, she's holding her stuff together really well.
Who deleted all of my?
It's amazing.
My comments?
She's a superstar.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm really glad we weren't there too, of course. So yeah, anyway, they're using my brother's name as if he doesn't have any relatives in order to help with his side of things. In the meantime, they're distributing things to people from the house. It's just so. Oh yes, yep. Yeah, like I can't imagine. I never thought I'd be in a position to try to. Thank you for believing me. Like some of the messages that I got on email and on the GoFundMe page, like I cried, and I don't really cry. Thank you so much. You know what? I wasn't doing interviews until the other day. Like my fiance was pretty worried about me and my safety and so on. And then I got a phone call from the RCMP because when this first happened, I put out a video expressing my displeasure with the RCMP and that I was super duper pissed off and blah, 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 blah. I don't even remember what I said. On the advice of some really good friends, I took all those videos down and I basically made everything on my channel private, which you'll know if you're looking at my videos. And thank you to all the new subs as well, because you're subbing to a channel that doesn't have any videos on it right now, because I was accused of lying about this being my brother in order to get more subscriptions. So anyhow, I got a phone call from the RCMP just a few days ago that somebody had sent them my video, and because of the language I used in it, he didn't say he was going to actually charge me. He said that my language was abusive or something like that, and they weren't sure if they were going to go forward with any proceedings against me in regards to my video.
Ooh, tacit threats.
So I asked him if he wanted a copy of
Thank goodness he's got a lawyer.
Letters that I was receiving over my GoFundMe page, but that wasn't his job. So I guess
which I will also say, sorry to interrupt, the lawyer does say that he's going to be. Let me see how. Again, I hope I'm not breaking any confidences here. He's going to draft a letter to the RCMP tomorrow evening, and we'll email it to Tara for her review, and also we'll send Tara the firm's retainer letter. So he's going to let the RCMP know that he's representing her. So this is good on this end, so she won't get abused also, right?
Somebody else will deal with that. But anyway, I'm going to put my email in here too. My email address, what I've been doing, because GoFundMe has a fee for, of course they do, it's a business. They have a fee for donations. So what I've been doing is that if you don't want to go through the GoFundMe or you don't have a credit card or whatnot, thank you so much. They do have to worry about their story. They're collecting money based on information that's not even true. And like initially when I saw the GoFundMe page, like I said, I didn't even read it because I assumed if I set up a GoFundMe page with their family members' pictures on the front and their story saying, whatever it said, I would have gone out of my way to make sure I included every possible living family member. Like, I would have never excluded these people. So anyway, can I post the link for this? Yeah, please, if you can, if you know how. That would be just wonderful. Do share, like, whatever that you'd like to do, definitely. The thing is like right now I'm having so many troubles. I can't get my GoFundMe page out there. I've had lots of people tell me that the link, when they get to it, it's all kind of funky and you have a hard time contributing to it. The other thing, like I said, are there fees associated with it. So I actually have my email transfer. Yeah, the cops really need to get their story straight. But I don't know what's going to happen there. But with the email address, I just have it going into a regular account. There's nothing in that account except for donations that I was getting through this manner. Oh, in New Germany, really? I just moved here, and I truly know absolutely no one. I lived in Liverpool. I moved here from Halifax. Hi, Elton. And I really don't know anyone, but it's beautiful here. I'm really glad I moved out of the city. And I'm sorry I can't stay on conversation because I'm trying to read the awesome chat and stay on task, and my brain's all kind of kerfuffled, but I really, the email address. I literally have nothing in that account except for what anyone might want to send through the email address through an email transfer. And so now that I have that lawyer, he's going to set up a trust so that that money can go right there, so that there's no worrying about like, where did it go or what is she spending it on? Like, I don't want to deal with this at all. This is not my thing. Initially, when this whole situation came about, I was called by the matriarch of their family and said all they want is a few personal items from the house, and they're leaving everything else to me. And I would have to deal with any liens on the property, which I'm sure there are. Hi, Missy. Thank you so much. That's good. Lurking and sharing is good. It is stressful anyway. There's definitely a lot of crap going around on the background, and I don't know how confident I am in the officials to find out what's going on. But what I do know is that this is way bigger than just, Aaron and my family and the many, many families who are suffering because of this. I would really like to get a hold of any survivors. Mr. Ellison, for example, would be nice to get a hold of. Nope, they haven't told me anything, Binks. Honestly, the first day I couldn't get a hold of Aaron. I called. I got a message or a phone call around 1-2-ish by an RCMP officer, and all he wanted was me to send him an email, him a picture of my brother, which I did do. And he told me that I didn't do it, but I have the sent email like I did do it, so I'm not sure what the problem is there. Thank you, Missy, so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here and sharing and everything. They haven't told me diddly. The day that it happened on the Sunday, I called, and finally at around 7 p.m., I got a phone call from a friend of mine who had heard from Jolene's mom that they were dead. So I got a confirmation from a friend of mine, third-hand information, and then so I called the RCMP to try to get confirmation of what I had just been told, and they wouldn't confirm it for me. I called 2 or 3 times, and it wasn't until 11 o'clock on Sunday night. It appears that there was an incident at the address that you mentioned, and that was it. And it wasn't until, I think it was Tuesday, that the bodies were on their way to the ME's office, and I got a phone call from the ME when they were on their way there, and that's how I knew for sure that they had died. And at that point, I didn't know if they had been burned. Were they in the house, out the house? Was their house burned? I knew nothing. And initially, they were asking, when the bodies were on their way to the ME's office, they were asking me if I would be available for a DNA sample, which made me think that they were burned. But, oh, Faye, thank you so much. Yeah, it is a headache. They make it really, really hard. Yes, and I have wrote everything in detail, and I've asked everybody who I know who knew Aaron and I to write any accounts that they had. He's got a friend who was with him when we met, and anyway, it is a nightmare. It's awful. Do yourself and your families a favor. Like, if you're going to die, have a will. Like, everybody dies, so you need a will, because, like, right now, the longer it takes me to prove my next of kin, the more everything is gone. I'm not allowed to have a copy of the autopsy. Why? I wasn't allowed to see my brother before he was cremated. Why? I know Gabriel Wortman's nice. It's good to have one, Faye, because, like, you don't want anyone you're dealing with. Paul, you and I kind of, yeah. I don't, that's not outside the realm of possibilities. That's all I can say about that. But make sure you do have a will, because this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's just not something you want to have to deal with. But I didn't get to see Aaron before they cremated him. Amen, Missy. You're totally right about
That's
that.
spooky.
So
they wouldn't let her go and look at the body.
I just wanted to come on and explain, like, my situation. Nice. Faye, you're so on top of things. Like, I'm a reasonable planner, but for some reason, that's just one of those things that I just never, I always think about it, but I never take a finger out and go do it. And definitely, there are slavers everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. 100%. But yeah, essentially, all I really want to do right now is prove my next of kin so that I can actually, so that, I can find out what the hell happened to my brother. I can't even ask any questions. My brother, my niece, my sister-in-law, this is my family, and I don't know what the hell happens to them. Anyway, without getting into tinfoil hat, anything, I mean, the timeline stinks. There's just no question about that. The alert that never happened is ridiculous. There's just so many things, and if I start, I may not stop. So I probably just cut it short there before I stick my finger in it.
Thank you for everybody spreading.
Then would think I'm researching something now, and if it's true, this was planned, and they have an agenda. I haven't driven by the house. They definitely have an agenda. This is a massive deal. My understanding, and I don't know how true this is. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone, and really, like, contact me if you want to. Message me. Seamus is there, and all the help that we can get is so important. I mean, as long as nobody's bitching at each other or calling people conspiracy theories or being polite, like, it doesn't matter what everybody believes. This is a Canadian problem that we're having right now. This isn't a my and my family problem. This is just happens to be that my family's involved, and it happens that I have a huge family of YouTube people, and it also happens that I'm awake. Like, a lot of these families who've lost their members, they just think it was some madman who went crazy. They don't even know that the background stuff happens. So obviously, I'm not happy that this happened to my family, but if it had to happen, we need to, like, it needs to be brought to the forefront. It needs to be somebody who understands what's going on. I'm losing my train of thought. I apologize so much, but we do need to stick together. And that's the thing. I think the judge will help me too. And I actually sent a message to the
Thank you, Hillbilly.
I sent
Appreciate
a message
that.
to CERT. So
and
I
Camel,
really hope
whatever you can
that
do.
they
If you
can
can,
help.
if you can't help,
sent a
that's
message to
fine.
Bernadette Jordan, who's my local constituent.
Life is hard for all of us.
I don't know who else to talk to. The only thing I can suggest, and I don't know if I'm allowed to suggest this or not, so hopefully I don't get into big trouble for saying this, but if you did donate to that other GoFundMe page, and you're not satisfied with the wording of it, or if you think that it's not, for me, I complain because I don't think it's appropriate to use my brother's name to help your family collect money when when clearly you've made a point of making sure that it's thought that you're the only one. It's like, to me, the deception, like, it's really frustrating. I don't understand that why wouldn't you say Aaron has a sister and a niece? They knew. Like, it's not like they didn't know. Yeah, and I do believe you can get your money back if you donate it to the other one, if you feel like you're not okay with what's happening to it. And I have no proof of anything, but I do know that they hired a lawyer. What ended up happening is that I was talking to the mom. She said that she and I were like going to work together to do this. And then she told me she would.
Duck, sorry, I'm just answering Duck's question there. Yes, the gun grab was already previously drafted. That's true. But I mean, what he piggybacked on this completely, right? Not to mix apples and oranges. This is about, Tara and having at least raising enough money to establish her next of kin rights and just helping a friend out, right? But honestly, on the gun grab one, listen, he totally used this tragedy to do political things, and that's wrong. I mean, that's just wrong. The guy was unlicensed. He was a criminal. They knew that. For despite all their denials, I'm gonna put together little short tweet clip things here where it's just gonna bash it out, and they can, we can just circulate it on the RCMP and show that they're not telling the truth the whole truth on this, and they better start. And, thank goodness for people like Judge Béguin, who is wanting the truth also.
Was going to a funeral parlor to sort of set up a memorial there and a corresponding one here and so on and so forth. And that was on King of UK. Okay, I will research that. And that was on a Tuesday. Wednesday, she was going to the funeral parlor, and I messaged her just to say, hey, how you doing? And I didn't hear anything. And Thursday, I called to say, what's the scoop with the funeral parlor? And I got a message from her sister who said I was harassing them and that they were going to call the police if I messaged them again. So, of course, I messaged them again because that's, at that point I was mad. I hadn't done anything. I just wanted to know what the hell was going on. And thanks so much. Anyway, so yeah, they called the cops on me and blah, blah, blah. It was super duper fun and exciting and all that good stuff. But that's the gist of it. That is why I'm doing a GoFundMe page, is to help me with my lawyer costs. I never really had to hire a lawyer before, certainly not for something like this. So it's just amazing. Communication with that side ended abruptly and rudely, then got threatened. Yeah, and that's exactly right. And as soon as they did that, they phoned the police, and I was like, all right, you know what? I didn't need to be your enemy. But now that you've made an enemy of me, you want to play this game, let's play the game. And so I made sure that I got a hold of a lawyer, and I told the police officer that I had a lawyer and that I wanted him to let them know that I had a lawyer and that they weren't to do anything with the body and so on until I gave permission. And he said he was going to do that. So, but still they moved the body. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. And I don't have any proof of this, but somebody told me that I wasn't the first survivor or victim or whatever you want. I don't even know what I am. Not the only person in my type of position who was being threatened. Right? Why are they going to threaten me over a video I made? a video showing my displeasure that my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece had been murdered, and they let it happen. It's not my fault. I didn't let it happen. They let it happen. Yeah, Missy, same thing exactly. I want to go up there, but I know it's not a good idea. That poor man, Mr. Ellison, who was stuck in the woods for 4 hours, that poor man. I cannot imagine how traumatized he is and will continue to be.
I think she's referring to Clinton.
It's astonishing. And you know what? I am upset with the RCMP. However, I also have respect for the honest RCMP out there. I believe that Heidi Stevenson was an honest RCMP. I believe that she was a whistleblower. I believe. Hi, Rainy Saps. Hi. I believe that she knew there was massive corruption. I believe she went to her most senior superior, whose name I don't know, but who died like 2 days before this happened. I believe, and again, I have no proof, I'm all about the gut feeling, but I believe she told her extremely high superior what was going on, and that person died, and then she died. Yeah, exactly. Where are all the other videos? These days everyone has a phone and records everything, so the cops got it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, really? Oh my gosh, this poor kid. And see, it would be really nice to get like a Facebook group or some kind of group together of all the people who are like floundering now, like myself, like this boy who was adopted, like Mr. Ellison, like, anyone and everyone who has been affected by this, because the only way we're going to find out what happened is if we all stick together.
Why does it do that?
I am not suicidal. Let me just say that. I am not suicidal. If anything happens to me or my spouse or my child, we didn't do it. Look into it. Get a hold of Seamus. Like, this is, we didn't do anything like that. And
I'm expecting tractors.
Be vocal, because I think lots of times if you stand up and speak out and people can hear you, that's the best way to stay safe. Because if it's just you privately being a big mouth, it's easy to take out one person, but we've got people all across the country who are looking into this even before I was involved in it. And then just because of some of the people I was lucky enough to be friends with, thank you so much, Missy. We need to deal with this. Like, this is corrupt. This is our country, and we are being curb stomped by the people we pay to curb stomp us.
Funny.
It doesn't make any sense. They are aware of us. I believe we are being watched. I don't know if my channel is, because I haven't done anything on here, but I definitely think that Little Gray Cells and Just My Stupid Opinion and Steve, LTT for sure, Rage in the Cage, probably Rants, and I don't know, probably Blue Apple. Everyone's probably being watched, to be honest with you. Thank you, Faye. I agree with that. I appreciate that, sir. I agree with that. Wow. It's a good thing I'm funny, because honestly, that's all I have at this point. But this is our country. It's our the reason that this is happening, and I believe we are being helped along by God. Whether you believe in God or energy or spiritual, whatever, I believe that there is evil happening in our country and in the world, actual evil. And I believe, as much as I believe there's evil, there is good. And I believe our group of people, are being helped by our creator, whatever you call it. And so I believe that we are going to be able to make a difference. We have been coming to a head for a very long time. And people, we really need to collaborate with our neighbors. We need to, like I always say, get off grid, grow your own food, arm yourselves, and make friends with like-minded people. Higher being, exactly. Everything is energy. And like for me, with losing my brother, and this sounds terrible, and I hope it doesn't come off bad, because I've been told like I don't express myself very well and I come off pretty bad. But honestly, hi, Fairy Storm, hi. Thank you for coming on. The only thing is that with how close Jolene and Emily and Aaron were, I can't imagine any of them being left in this world without the other two. They were amazingly close. You've never... Yep, that's right, Missy, absolutely. Get some big dogs. This is my dog. I have a pit bull. He is, well, that's the attack position. I actually am so pumped about one thing. Yeah, I have a contact on my Facebook page, and it's called Match Teague Wachter Rottweilers. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, I was in contact with them because I've been watching their breeding program for a really long time, and they are he's a handsome boy. Hey, Missy, that's a
killer wasps
from the U.S.
I mean,
from
what
a kill
the fuck?
shelter, and
Anything
he
but.
is the sweetest guy.
CBC was just non-stop COVID.
COVID
and killer wasps.
In the bed, but he's a really good hot water bottle.
You have a problem.
Yeah, he chases tires, he chases cars, and he chases chickens. Other than that, he just holds the bed down. But this kennels that I've gotten in touch with, I've been watching them since I moved to to Nova Scotia. My favorite breed is a Rottweiler. To me, they're the most perfect breed of dog. Anyway, after this happened, because I talked to Aaron prior to this, and he didn't have a gun, he didn't have a dog, and I was constantly sending him rescue pictures of dogs and things because I just can't imagine. I've had a dog my whole life. Ever since I moved out on my own, I have always had a dog, usually two. Anyway, this kennel, I'm so pumped. They have the greatest breeding program. They sell the puppies before the females even bred. And so they're not a backyard breeder. They're so adorable. And I reached out to this lady and I was like, what's the cost of them? And she was so good. She's like, oh my gosh, with your situation, I'm not even going to charge you. If I could give you a puppy today, I would. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. My dog, his name is Ted. You used to breed Rotties. Rotties are my favorite. I'm a certified dog trainer, and I rescued a number of generally the aggressive breeds, my pit bull. This is a highly aggressive, as you can tell. Oh, big stretch. Highly aggressive pit bull. And Rotties are just about as aggressive. It's ridiculous. His name is Ted. Ted the dog. And he's my good boy. We have a cat that picks on him, and he's pretty funny. My spouse likes a black shepherd. That's what he wants. He wants a dog that looks like a wolf. Yeah. And I like all dogs. My favorites I like rescues, just because there's just so many rescues and I feel so bad for them. But it's hard to actually find a Rottweiler that is a rescue. And then, life without a dog is not a life. It's just existing. A house without a dog is not a home. That's it. You have to have a dog, at least one dog. You had a white shepherd? They're really beautiful. Hard to come by. There's one puppy's for sale right now in Halifax, actually. But anyway, I'm super pumped. My puppy probably won't be coming until... You have a wolf, Tracy? We had a hybrid when I lived in Surrey. The girl I took my dog training from, we had a hybrid. His name was Jack, Wolfman Jack, and they're so cool. The way that they walk, and they're howling. I love it when they howl. I get the coyotes out here in because we've got some acreage here in the woods, and oh, Kelly, I bet she's so sweet. Oh, dogs are the best. Like a toy poodle. Oh, I got bit in the face by a toy poodle. Those things are little, but man, they're fearless. They really are. They have no idea how little they are. They're so funny but smart. Those poodles you can train to do anything. If they had thumbs, they could bring you coffee. It's a true story. I have to get a new Twitter account. I've been kicked off Twitter so many times. It's embarrassing. It's just ridiculous. My Facebook page too. I have a crazy name on there, Georgia Nala, because I've been banned and booted off of Facebook a few times too. One time they wanted me to actually send them a picture, a photo identification with my address on it in order to keep my Facebook page. And I was like, that's just not going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here because I could talk about dogs all day. Thank you. Oh, Wolf and a Roddy. Really? That thing would be so smart. Oh, see, to me, like a Rottweiler, people see them as scary, and I just want to grab the big fat head and like snuggle it. They're so cute. I don't know. I'm strange, but anyone here in this stream would already know that probably. We do. We need to have a private something set up somewhere where we can all chat and not be worried about being listened to.
Oh, good luck on that.
Get in touch with each other. If everybody can maybe try and figure out a way to get in touch with some of these survivors or people who are scared to death, that would be really good. Anyway, you guys have you howl every night. I live in the woods in New Germany, and I do too. I try to see how close I can get the coyotes, and you can hear them all around you. It's pretty cool. Anyway, you guys, God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining. You know what? I don't want to be normal. I really don't want to be part of that 97% of people who don't really know what's going on. But you guys have a wonderful day. God bless you all. Hug your families. Buy a dog. Arm yourselves. Buy property out in the woods. Thank you so much. Stay well and take care of yourselves. I actually considered buying an RV and a piece of property so that I could be there situated until I need to move. Oh, okay, cool. Red Rose Patriot. Thanks so much, Missy. I'm going to have to probably use my spouse's Twitter account. But I'll message you and let you know. Thanks so much, Faye. Take care, you guys. And thank you. There's not enough thank yous in the world. God bless you all. See you soon. Bye.
All right. So there you go. On that, let's see here. Thanks very much for watching. I think that was, hopefully somewhat insightful in terms of where Tara's at. And, I'm, again, if you can help spread the word, that would be appreciated. She has, again, the information. I've left it in the video below in the comments for an e-transfer or for the GoFundMe. And also, I would heed her advice, just coming from a family of lawyers. Be sure to have a will. It makes things a lot easier, and saves money, because this is going to cost her a lot, right? And or cost, collectively, people, good friends and things, and her a lot. And it's not something that she needs to go through, or anybody needs to go through. If you have the will, then not to say that you don't have headaches afterwards. That certainly happens. And sadly, also, my mom used to say that she did wills in the States. That's what her specialty was. And so I learned from a very young age. You see people's true colors after death. It's quite sad. I like your conversation about Ted. Ted's pretty awesome. I have a little dog too, but he's very small and old. I don't think I'll be getting any defense out of him at all. You're willing to give your socks, Todd. That's pretty awesome. So I can cut it off here, I suppose, but I do have a few more thoughts. I haven't, I have more information that I've kind of been putting together. And of course, there's lots of people in the background working tirelessly on this because they care. They don't care about fucking killer wasps and COVID shenanigans. They care about the fact that we've got a police force that isn't answering any questions. And I think there's some key components out there that are you out, Camel? If so, have a good night, sir. Ma'am, sir. I don't actually know some people's names. You can't really tell. Cam no. Is it Cam no? Cam. I can't read. Have a good night. Certain things that they have said are rather key, and I've kind of picked up on. Maybe I'm just being, weaponized autism at this point, but the fact that they said right away, Wortman's guns are in the hands, the question is in the hands of CERT at this point. I think that's rather telling. CERT, if we want to look, its directive is only to do with police issues, police interactions, obviously criminal or investigative, let's say that way, interactions with civilians, police on civilian. Let's just share the screen here if I can do that. So here we go. Independently investigate incidents which arise from the actions of police. Now, why is Wortman's guns the actions of police? Notice how they use the word equipment. Equipment. It's not uniforms and car, but equipment. And equipment is, I think, rather telling once again. Because you can also throw in guns, right? There was, I believe, probably, they've made the inference, at least, that Stevenson's gun possibly was used to kill Gina Goulet. So then it may be a question of CERT. But I think it's interesting that, right away, Leather is like, no, we can't answer any questions about that. That's in the hands of CERT. And of course, the fire hall story completely has disappeared. First, it was, we have no idea who did that. Nothing was caught on camera. It was some RCMP drove up in a car, but we can't identify it. To, yes, we know who it is. It's two members. And that's being investigated, but it's in the hands of CERT. And when I started looking into this at the beginning, I was absolutely shocked to see how much is going on in Nova Scotia. And probably, frankly, is going on, obviously, across the country. But I would have thought Nova Scotia was not having too many problems. Here we can see they have a garbage pile of investigations going into all the different police forces down there. And let's see here. What was that? Staff sergeant. 10 kilograms cocaine, Nova Scotia. I mean, I was like, excuse me? Former Nova Scotia Mountie convicted of stealing 10 kilograms of cocaine? And this guy headed a detachment. And he was stealing cocaine out of, evidence lockers and selling it out the back door. And to some third parties. Was Mr. Wortman involved in this potentially? Who knows? I think, when I hear lines such as, we had no knowledge of anything, when you have people like Mr. Walker, Daniel Walker, Wortman, Nova Scotia didn't hide his cruiser. When they say that they had absolutely no knowledge of this at all, I call balls on that, because here we have an article. I wonder if CBC's changed this. Let's see. I was shocked CBC changed that. They took Clinton's interview and they actually went back using YouTube editor to remove a minute. And that was what I talked about the other day, so that it doesn't appear as though the video has been changed, because the date still says the 22nd, right? But the video is actually different. They removed all of the stuff about where he was like, police completely failed, and lots of people are dead as a result of their actions. And anyways, in here he said, Daniel Walker, quote, he said that he had talked to the police, the funeral director said. They suggested to him it was not, if he was going to take it to car shows, that he was not to drive it on the road, but take it on a trailer. So they say that. Or you get little clips like, let's see here. I'm just making little clips here. Where is it? No history of violence. Let's try that one. Do you think that they knew about that he had a history of violence? I think maybe. Let's see if this goes through.
Did the suspect have a history of violence or extreme racial opinions of any kind?
Not that I'm aware of.
Really?
And he's commanding officer.
Really? They didn't know that he had a history of violence? Okay. Wortman. Assault. 15-year-old. They didn't know about it, I guess, though. That's what they say, right? They didn't know. Just like they didn't know about the police car. And they're still maintaining that position. That, the clip I played there was earlier. But the new person, I'm forgetting his name, not Leather, the new fellow, they were saying to him, and he's like, oh no, we didn't know anything about the police cruiser. We never heard anything about the police cruiser. Obviously, I'm not quoting him verbatim. I can go back and I'm getting all these little clips just so I can line it up and then, put it together with the articles and then, just tweet it off with some little bit of flashy music. I don't know. I used to do those kinds of things. I like to do those. And then you can just ship them off and you can say, are you so sure about that one? So there's a lot of problems. Is Steve in here? Did I see Steve? Howdy, Steve. How's it going? There's lots of little things that they're keeping really mum on. Another thing to notice, of course, is how many witnesses do you hear talking? This is an interesting one. If there's apparently 400 and some odd witnesses, 450 some odd witnesses, frankly, if I was a witness, the last thing I would do is talk to the RCMP at this point in time. They're going to silence you. They're going to shut you down. And I know that in the background, there's other people like Steve really working hard to research and find some people to talk to. And they don't want to talk. Lots of them. A couple of them seem like they're interested and know something might be amiss. And it's not about an agenda. Like, listen, you have to prove our position. That's absolutely not where we're coming from. It's, what is the truth? Do you want to tell the truth? And tell your position, what you know, and people are shutting down. How many witnesses do you see coming forward and talking about this? You had Clinton come forward. You had Cigar Guy come forward. Mr. Lloyd Johnson, he came forward. And about the tape which got out before the RCMP got to it. If they hadn't had that tape get out, well, things would have been easier. The tape caused them a lot of problems. But they can't completely clean up their act here. And I just can't understand why, if something is wrong and you've done some mistakes here, you cannot apologize for the mistakes. This is where we're going to start to get some trust rebuilt. If they want to rebuild trust, okay, that's super. I'm all for it. Then start by acting responsibly, not like a child, and hiding from the responsibility. Actually face your responsibility and deal with it, rather than lying to the public, rather than not apologizing for shooting up you look at the footage, the stock footage of what was going on. What was that? What was it called? EMS evacuation, Nova Scotia shooting. I can't remember the name of it. Great something. The evacuation center, right, that was peppered with bullets, of course. But if you actually look at the stock footage of what was going on at the time, I mean, there was fucking ambulances everywhere. This is where the RCMP were being told over their communication systems, please take all the evacuees there. There were RCMP in that building. There were emergency officials in that building. There were firemen in that building. And then they drive up. 2 officers drive up because they can't fucking know their ass from a hole in the wall. And they don't know who they're going after, what they're doing. And they open fire on it. Here we get a little bit of footage from Global, and it's like, totally abandoned. Well, this is, of course, the next day. What did it look like that day? I mean, it was a madhouse. It was a complete and utter madhouse. I actually haven't seen this video before. Interesting. I'll have to get it. Probably scrubbing here. Let's just do a little searching here. Where are we at here? I mean, look at this. It's right in the door. It knocked out one of their engines. And of course they messaged about that and said, oh my Lord, like, it's all over the place. They're seriously opening fire on this thing. And this is where evacuees are. RCMP officers are, firemen are, EMS people are, people who are injured are. And you go and shoot it up, and then you don't even apologize. You're not like, well, listen, we're really sorry. It's in the hands of CERT right now. We apologize for the position of these two officers, which clearly didn't know what was going on. How do you rebuild trust with somebody if you're not willing to admit your mistakes? This is pure lunacy. If you want to sit there in complete denial and maintain this authority position, that don't they need to fill out paperwork for discharging their guns, especially when people were shot inside. I don't know if anybody was ever shot inside. I've never heard anything to that. Ian, I all that I've heard is that, and if you have information on that, I'd be all ears, of course, to any information any of you guys have. But to the best of my knowledge, the Onslow Fire Hall messaged about that. Let's see if I can find that here. Where they were saying that one of their fire engines was knocked out. You know, this, and the next day they were actually dropping off teddy bears for one of the volunteer firemen who was killed in the Portapique incident for his son. And they were driving up in the fire engines. And I was thinking to myself when I saw it at the time, my goodness, you know, you are down one fire engine. Here we go. Let's see, blow that up. Share screen. In coordination with the EMO, the Onslow Fire Brigade, was being used, Emergency Management Office, as a registration center for evacuees from the Portapique area. So this is from their official Facebook page. The hall was used to provide a place where residents come take a break and register, take a break, and get a hotel and Red Cross information. We can confirm that around 10:30, gunfire at our hall and gunfire caused considerable damage to our property, including taking one of our trucks out of service. There was an RCMP officer and cruiser staged on our property. I mean, when this is going on, you know that they're all over the radio, right? And they're saying, please take the evacuees here. Please take the evacuees here. Why are two officers, do they have their head up their ass and they're going to go and shoot this place up? And then Onslow Fire Brigade shuts down. Shut them down. They delete the post. Is that not odd? My dog must have stepped on my remote in the other room. I hear the other. I'm watching there he is there. Campbell, I think is his name. Campbell, with his phony baloney dog and pony show. And there's good people down there. I'm getting some great information tonight. I got a picture of where the 10, what is it? What time was it? 11:15 photo was taken. Somebody went over there and actually took a picture of where it is. So now I'm going to track which way the car was actually driving. Was it driving toward Debert, or was it driving down to Portapique? Is this an RCMP cruiser, responding to the whole shooting? Where's that? Oh, they sent me some more information. Great people. So this is what you actually see in the background, is this school. So, citizen investigators, even though I'm on the other end of the fucking country, Steve's out here too. Rage is out here. At least Adrian's a little closer, but we're obviously very far away. But, people, you guys sending information to us is what is really helpful. But these people aren't willing to apologize to the Onslow Fire Brigade publicly. They're not willing to apologize to the evacuees publicly. You've got CBC covering up for... I'm going to just play that again because, fucking, that makes me so mad. I'm so mad. Like, why would CBC want to clip that? Somebody was telling me that they were saying something about that in their post about it. Let's just have a look. Clinton, CBC, Survivor. Oh, God, Survivor. I'm thinking of that terrible show. There we go. It pops up, of course. Clinton, Survivor, Nova Scotia. There we go. That's this. Okay, so it's now 8 minutes and 16 seconds, which is complete and utter bullshit. And there was something also funny in here that I thought of. Let's see if they're getting comments on this. I'm glad you made it out alive. Please, if you have an account, let's get on them and start bombing them. Where is the 1 minute that you've deleted? Where is the 1 minute that you've deleted about the man talking about how the police failed? Why did you delete it? Disgusting. This is supposed to be news? This is propaganda at its finest, showing itself. Of course, we all know that they're propaganda for the government. But why? You have to call them on their shit. You have to make them look like an idiot. This is what you have to do to these people. You have to publicly shame them. Do you guys remember the shooting that happened with the 9-year-old, the 9 people, I think it was, the Somalis? It was a Somali who went a little ballistic down in Toronto and was shooting up Toronto. Anyways, Toronto police had, back in those days, that's what I kind of was doing. I was scrubbing around and going through police stuff. And as soon as the story of the arrest broke, because I would go every morning and go into the police press releases, and they'd actually said at that point in time, let me see if I can dig up that tweet. It's probably going to take me a time because I've got so much crap on my computer. But they'd actually said the person's name, and they had given a photo out of that individual. And CBC tweeted out an hour later, oh my goodness, they've got arrest, they had the story, no photo, no picture. So, and I don't even know if they had a name. I can't quite remember. So I made a little video and I busted them. And I'm like, where is the name? And then I went to the press release. I showed the press release from the Toronto Police Services official press release. And good night, Ian. See you later. And CBC right away, it was probably about 3 minutes later, altered their story, put the picture in, put the name in. Because I embarrassed them on their own line. It wasn't because they didn't know. Because there was only one press release from Toronto. But because that got shown and then people started retweeting it, CBC all of a sudden, oh, sorry, we didn't know. We just forgot. We missed the fact that there's a big, gigantic picture of this man. Abdi, I think was his name. So bomb this video, this 8 minute, 16 second, what is it called? With comments. Let's see. I'll do it. I'll start it off. Where is the 1 minute portion that you have deleted? Oh my goodness, look at, where is the 1 minute portion that you have deleted from the original interview? Yes, here you go. Copy. Paste. Please go feel free to bomb their channel. And I'll put together a video of it, like, just so that you can tweet it or whatever and bomb their fucking goddamn nonsense propaganda. Speaking as a survivor, comma, on how the RCMP failed to protect I smell propaganda. I downloaded the original video on this very link. You have used YouTube editor to remove that 1 minute portion. Criticizing, yeah, why am I? It's fucking speaking portion. Oh, not potion. Portion. Criticizing the RCMP. Period. Rightfully so. Question mark. Or exclamation mark. I smell propaganda. Don't want to have any spelling errors in here. There we go. Okay. Superstar. Bing. What do you want to bet that that gets deleted? I've seen them do this before, time and time again. And they just, you have to call them on this nonsense. Go and bomb them. Bomb them, please. Link. I'll link again. Here it is. Paste. Because I don't want to replay it. Well, actually, I do want to replay it. Fuck it, man. Because he told the truth. He told the truth. And he was one of the few people who have actually been able to say anything. And they haven't got to him and silenced him. There's another photo I've also found. I sent it to Steve last night do you see how they're cleaning up the crime scene here, right? This is the home that the corrections officers died in, and they died. They were burned in this home alive, and they had a backhoe immediately come in and wreck it. But I found a couple of other interesting photos last night when I was just kind of digging around. So on my phone, goddamn, I hate this tech shit. It's every which way from Sunday. I've got stuff. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. Here is the fireman still putting out the fire. And they're in there and wrecking it. This is not how you investigate crime scenes. You don't go in and wreck it. How are you going to find bullet casings? How are you going to actually prove anything? You just come in there and you destroy it? Oh, thank you, Duck. I appreciate that. Everybody should be calling them out. Make them feel like crap, because these people are, they sit there with their poofy makeup on their, they're damn orange people. They're fake. They're fake, and they're supposed to be carrying the news and doing the investigation that everybody over here is doing. But instead, they pump out lies. The propaganda. Where was that? Clinton's interview. And there was one other thing. Thank you, Mercer. One other thing.
Yeah, it was about 10 o'clock. I went upstairs to go to bed.
Now,
Me and my brother were upstairs listening to music.
CBC has good, I would think, the top of the line camera equipment, right? Of course, it's taxpayer funded. They get it. They have a little bit of a problem with the video in one part of it, which I noticed. Let's see. See, it's 9 minutes, 10 seconds long. 9 minutes, 10 seconds. What is the original? That's 9 minutes, 10 seconds. What is their one saying? Oh, balls. 8 minutes, 15 seconds. 55 seconds is missing. But there was also something else that I did not point out in the video the other day. Where was it? He's talking about how something, and it all gets, and then you hear 4 a.m. and then it returns to normal. Let's see if we can find that. It spooks me out. Maybe I need to put the tinfoil on. I don't know. But honestly, I've seen CNN. Everybody who watches stuff really closely has seen them do this. Oh, you're talking about something, technical difficulty. Sorry, we just lost the signal. Really sorry about that one. Is something going on funny with this video? I don't know.
Set the lights off and hide.
Let's see.
Yes, I will. I said, don't call me back. I don't want my phone to light up and laid on the ground. I
Can't remember where that was.
Loose.
Here.
I've been on the loop. Finally.
And this isn't, I thought initially this was me, but then when I watched the video yesterday, it actually is in their video, the one that's still up there. So it's not a download problem or anything like that. There's something wrong that there's either a problem with their filming stuff or something they're hiding, because he says something about 4 a.m. if you listen really closely.
Light up and laid on the ground, and I nearly froze to death. I had to get out of the Great Village Fire Hall and recover from hypothermia and everything. I'm in shock.
So he goes to the fire hall, by the way. He goes to the fire hall that they're going to go and shoot up to recover from hypothermia, where they have their own officers in there. Their own officers are in there. Hello? Lots of emergency vehicles buzzing all over the place. If you look at the stock video, or not the stock video, the video of that. And of course, all of those press people were there. So they would have known. Well, thank you, Missy. I hope somebody has reached out to him. I haven't. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not comfortable reaching out to people. And, Steve's been so helpful in that regard, because I don't like talking to people I don't know. I'm kind of weird that way, but I'm just a bit shy. So, anyways, so he's at the fire hall, and thank you very much to Steve. He's just been massive help. Massive. Adrian's been massive help. Rage in the Cage help huge, and of course all of you guys with your stuff. But let's listen to it.
I was just allowed to come down today to get my vehicle finally.
There, that's the Saturday night into the Sunday. Know what was happening entirely.
Went to the armored personnel carrier company. And
What did they say?
they said that there was a gun on the loose. Yeah, gun on the loose. The approximately 4 a.m. I finally got out of the whole ordeal at 4 a.m. It started around 10:30.
What have police been telling you?
And then it goes back to normal. What's the stuff that he was saying there? What's the stuff that he was saying there? I've got the links for their channels below. Please subscribe to all those guys.
Pardon?
What have police been telling you?
Nothing. Basically nothing. Nothing. I still haven't even got my cell phone back yet. They still have my cell phone. I'm gonna call them for that, wanting that back.
Why don't they give the guy a cell phone? And I think he does say actually about the fact that, you know, people who are trying to find out if he's okay can't call him. So you can't use the emergency message system, which again, if you look at that and think about it for a moment, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Because they're like, oh, well, Twitter is the fastest way to. Okay, so they're saying that people with Twitter on their phone will get notified. How does the emergency system work? Let's see. Let's think here for a moment. Gray cells. Beep, 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 beep. On the phone. On the phone. The very phone that Twitter's on. But very few people are actually on Twitter. I did find some other people who spoke about the Twitter business, and they're like, the old people, and they're like, I don't have Twitter. I didn't know anything was going on. And why did they leave me in the dark? More people could have survived. Of course.
I'm just in shock.
Can you tell us about your brother?
My brother was a really good guy. He would have been the first to jump, run, go, and help. And for him going to help cost him his life. Yep, cost my brother his life. He was a really good guy. He helped people that he could, and he was disabled. He had a seeing eye disability, and he was a generally good guy. He liked fishing in the outdoors.
Yeah, good guy, robbed of his life.
He went out after you and your brother heard gunshots. Your father didn't hear a gunshot.
Yeah.
And he went out to investigate. Is that what happened?
He went to look at the fire. He wasn't going to look for whoever was firing the guns. He wanted to go and see how bad the fire was. Yeah, he went to see how bad the fire was. It cost him his life.
How close to you was the fire?
You have to be following the RCMP account. Yeah, very good point, Bridget. Thank you.
Like, see the glowing. And then
You're absolutely right.
And as soon as I took one more step and hit the light out on the front of him, I could see a bunch of blood. And I knew he was dead. And I knew.
So this was about how few people can we notify, because we've really fucked up. We knew that he had the car. We knew that he was a violent person. We knew that he had a firearm. And I haven't talked about that yet. Halifax PD knew that he had shotguns. And I'm presuming that they were illegal, and they let him keep it. According to who? That would be Paul Wortman, his father. Plausible deniability, exactly. This man had guns. So Mr. Trudeau talks about seizing guns from criminals. Well, who didn't seize guns from the criminals and let him keep it? They knew about the cruiser. They knew about the guns. Ooh. Do you think that they're responsible? Do you think that they may have some responsibility in this? Oh, I think a lot.
From the gunshots I heard earlier, that something was really wrong and turned and run for my life.
Exactly.
Run for my life.
Probably drugs are involved here.
Did you know, now that you know the identity of the shooter?
I did not know the gentleman. I did not know that man. I'm from Halifax. I come up from Halifax. I picked my brother up in Truro to come visit my father for the night. I was going back home to Halifax. I don't know. I don't know anybody in there really.
Your dad lives there full time?
My dad lives in there full time, and my uncle and his wife.
Yeah, it's late at night. Great point, sister. It's late at night. You know, and how many people have notifications going on their cell phone, audible notifications from Twitter? Your phone would be blowing up all the time, right? And plus, you don't get notified of everything. You don't get notified of everything. So how many people actually do you think literally got notified? Whereas if your phone was sitting beside you at 10 o'clock at night, 10:26, whatever, when did they put it out? I can't even remember when they put out the 10:26 was their first tweet for the firearms complaint, to which they found bodies immediately, according to Leather, when they responded. And they called it a firearms complaint. They didn't call it a shooting until 6 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood, the next morning. So all of these people were in there getting shot up. Nobody was getting notified. Nobody was being told anything. People were burned to death in this. It was horrific. And the RCMP, instead of saying that they really had fucked up and tried to save people by doing the right thing, by using the notification, to which listen, the more I talk about this, the more angry I'm going to get. The emergency management office, I believe it's called, who is in charge of the notification service, repeatedly kept calling the RCMP and saying, please, we have the staff. I have the articles. We have the staff here. We want to notify the people. Please tell us to notify the people. And they're like, we'll get back to you on that one. And they never did. Never. According to Leather, they're still completing it when he's getting killed. Wortman's being killed at 12:26. Timeline, gigantic clusterfuck. But we won't go too tinfoily at this point in time. But anybody who's been watching this stuff knows we proved it. In the RCMP, when we prove certain things, we come out with stuff way ahead of time. And even to this point, they're still fucking lying. They're talking about the cigar hut and they're calling it a fire hall and they're saying it's 10 kilometers away and that it occurred half an hour earlier. These people have their head up their ass and they're not that they're incompetent. They are openly lying. This is called deceptiveness. And if they are being paid by taxpayers to protect us when people are getting murdered and they can do something about it, that's a problem.
Yeah. Are they okay? Yes, they are okay. Very fortunate. I don't know how they got away.
What do you think this says about the community? What does this mean for
This
us?
can happen anywhere. This can happen anywhere. Everybody's on edge, especially with the Corona-19. Everybody's really on edge. I don't know what the circumstances.
The fear
are behind
porn,
that
they keep
gentleman
pumping
going
us
off
full.
like that, but a lot of people are living on edge, and now a lot of people are going to be living on edge and living in fear.
Okay, so it's 6 minutes, 13 seconds, I think, where it starts.
Better response. I was watching the news earlier. It really made me sick to my stomach that they didn't put the emergency alert out. If the police had put the emergency alert out, I would have got it on my phone hiding in the woods and you would have known what was going on. And it could have saved some more lives. Yeah. The police could have handled this stuff a lot better. I hid in the woods for about 4 hours, staring up the sky, freezing to death, looking for red flashing lights that never came. So hours. People were in there burning to death and dying. It took hours for a response. That's not right. That's not right at all. Right, by the time they hauled me up here in the armored personnel carrier, it looked like a fortress of police. Same with the Great Village Fire Hall up there.
Which they opened fire on.
They know what to do with. Y'all standing around when people were dying? That's not right. That's not right. I can get in the way you'd be scared, I guess. But I mean, here's your job: serve and protect. To serve and protect, not sit back and watch while people are being killed. You shouldn't wear that uniform. If you ever got the guts to go in there and save people's lives, shouldn't wear that uniform. I would have went in there. I went up looking for my brother. I didn't have a bulletproof vest. I never had a gun, but I went. They should have too. That's all I want to say.
Did you know any of the other victims?
Thank goodness. You know, do you know any of the
I
other
know a few
victims?
of the other victims, and my heart goes out to their families.
Okay, so now let's watch CBC's version of it now. That was the same video I downloaded from this exact link. From this exact link when it initially came out. And notice how the date is the same? So what they've done is they've used YouTube video editor. They didn't repost the video. They used YouTube video editor and went back and deleted it. Let's go to 6 minutes, 13 seconds here and listen. We'll just a little bit earlier. And then play it and listen to where it goes to. And you'll see the jump. You'll see the jump where they've clipped it.
Edge and living in fear.
What do you want to see happen?
Better response. I was watching the news earlier. It really made me sick to my stomach that they didn't put the emergency alert out. If the police had put the emergency alert out, I would have got it on my phone hiding in the woods, and I would have known what was going on. And it could have saved some more lives.
Did you know any other victims?
I knew a few of the
What
other
happened
victims.
there?
My heart goes out to them.
What happened there? Something strange.
I got it on my phone hiding in the woods, and I would have known what was going on. And it could have saved some more lives.
Did you know any
Boom!
other victims?
I knew a few of the other.
Where's the lady walking around in the background?
And I would have known what was going on, and it could have saved some more lives.
Oh, she's gone. She's gone. Jump. The clip is like jump. And then they ask the question that occurs at 7 minutes, 13 seconds, or 7 minutes, 18 seconds about survivors. Did you know any of the other victims? Unbelievable. Let's just refresh the page, see how many of you wonderful people have bombed this.
So 10 o'clock, they went upstairs to go to.
And watch them turn the comments off and start deleting them. Can somebody give this guy his cell phone back? Poor guy. I'm sure his family is phoning to make sure he's okay. He doesn't even have any way to talk to them. And half of us these days don't even, we're so techno goofified, we don't even know everybody's phone numbers anymore. Oh, it's in my phone book on my phone, but I can't phone anybody because I don't have my phone book. The way he tells the story, let's see, trauma specialist, those people who decide to use Twitter, public debacle, my heart breaks for this man, this poor man, super nice guy, A lot of people talking about the errors. This video is edited to cut out the criticism. Thank you. That's Duck. Awesome, dude. Yeah, see, here's person's comment before they deleted it. I waited for 4 hours for the police. Do you see? So there's people in here talking about the old video before they fixed it. Why did you edit the original? Thank you, Bridget. Shame on you. Great cover-up. Absolutely. Absolutely. And these people are our citizens. These are our friends and neighbors. I don't live out there, but my heart is fucking bleeding, breaking, and I'm angry. Real angry. Go to Defend Canada Media Channel. Hillbilly Honk. Hillbilly. All right, we'll go to, who is it? Defend Canada. I guess I'm looking up something, of course, is normal that they have banned. You guys should see my playlists. I keep them private. But the amount of banned videos that are on my playlist is just absolutely unbelievable. It's just like Video private, video ban, video private, ban. This account no longer exists. This account no longer exists. This account no longer exists. Defend Canada. Media. Okay. Let's see. Now, what am I going for? Canada disarmed. Tell us. Join us to volunteer, stay giving. Why don't you go fuck yourself? How about that? I'll volunteer to give money or volunteer my time and help people that need help. Go fuck yourself, you gigantic corporate monkeys. What am I looking for? Donate to seek the truth. Is that what I'm looking for? I'm going to start fund at some point when I get a lawyer. I have to find a really good lawyer down there, though. And, you know, this actually is nice because I have lawyers in my family, so I can find probably somebody very good down there to do a class action suit, and then I'm going to set up a trust in that lawyer's name, do a GoFundMe, and it's all above board. I've never begged for money in my life, but awesome.
Notorious, they got to know that life ain't good for sleep to be. First things first, what you mean to me. Even though you're good, it's still a team. Your family, I fulfill your dreams. In the future, I can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometimes. Black face up my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, it's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel, even if you didn't get half the breath. I know it's
It's a great song, too.
Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be listening, thinking of the day when you've been away. What a life to take, what a bond to break, I'll be listening. That's why we pray for you. Every day we pray for you. Till the day we meet again. And my heart is where I'm keeping friends. Deliverance, give me the strength I need to proceed. The strength I need to believe. My thoughts bigger, just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us and mistakes, we shot through the close of hits. You and me taking flicks. Making hits, stages, they see we won't. Still can't believe we won't give anything to get happy. I know you're still living life after death. Every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break, I'll be missing.
That's an excellent video. The only thing is I would add clarification on that, right? This is that is just to establish her next of kin status. That's it. The next stage to all this, once we're better organized and we have more survivors and surviving families, victims' families, is to kind of go about that process about getting a really good lawyer down there, and then raising money to do a civil suit. But terrorist stuff isn't related to that. Terrorist stuff is just simply to establish her next of kin status. But funnily enough, that plays into all of that, right? because if she does choose to seek legal remedy, as in filing a suit, she has to have the next of kin status to represent the estate, right? So she needs that. So it's not as though this is going to be funding that. That's not what it's for. It's just simply for establishing her next of kin status. But it will have an impact. So it's very good to get involved with that. I'm other things. I've got other things, but I think it's probably better to organize my things more clearly. I just want the clips of things like that, and I'm not good at that, right? So thank you, Defend Canada, for making that video. Well, I'm not good at that. It's not that I'm not good at that. I am good at. I'm okay at it. I'm okay at it, making videos, but I've just been so busy trying to deal with everything. I haven't gotten to everything, so I really appreciate any help everybody's willing to give. This is interesting too. I'll play this quote right here. He's asked about Stevenson's death. Again, the audio is very it's not good because you can't hear the questions necessarily, but
I apologize if you don't answer this. It's difficult to hear on the phone, but is this information you could maybe give us on the death where it took place and what transpired?
What transpired with Constable Stevenson's death? If we provide any information on it.
I'm not at liberty to discuss the specifics of the death of Constable Stevenson at this time.
oh, does that not strike you as slightly odd? Just slightly odd. The reporter is asking for where Constable Stevenson died, and can you give us some background? And his answer is, I'm not at liberty to discuss that, i.e., somebody else is saying he can't talk about it. Now, if she just died, was shot, and in this Shuby turnoff that we've all talked about, why can't he say that? Why can't he say that? Well, it appears as though she was killed at the Shuby turnoff, and it seems as though Mr. Wortman was involved. Mr. Wortman killed her. No, can't discuss that. You have the emergence of the silver tracker out of nowhere, to which they have never answered. The silver tracker, I have such a poor time communicating because it's the light bulb. I always see when the light bulb goes on with people, and I think it's something to do with me. In my communication, I don't communicate well, but I'm telling you, the silver tracker is a big fucking problem. They have silver tracker over here. He's only driving it for 1.8 kilometers, to which nobody would see in the rural countryside. And yet they're tweeting about it for over half an hour. How the hell do they know about it? How the hell do they know about it? They don't know. They're tweeting about it literally when the guy is dying, that he's in the silver tracker. I mean, what are you talking about? I think I'm going to give you my theory, but I have to work on it some more, like as in the proofs, because I like proofs. It's just the lawyer in me, but this is my working theory, and let me just farm it by you guys and see what you think. My working theory at this point in time is that at that last, quote, cluster 3, that they like to call it, cluster 3, what happens is that, yes, I believe that the time may be off on that camera. I'm gonna agree. I don't think it's half an hour off. I think that's a bunch of baloney that they're feeding us with the clipped photo. Once again, they crop the picture so you can't see the time. They say, oh, it's 10:20. What did they say? 10:25 or something like that. When in factuality it was 10:55 according to the timestamp that they removed that. Okay, let's just say that the camera was some out. Okay, I'll give you that. Now, the timeline doesn't fit that he can go and do all of these things. I've discussed this at length, ad nauseum. My theory is what happened is he went directly from the tobacco hut, Lloyd Johnson's tobacco hut at whatever time it is, and drove directly to Gina Wortman's house, killed her, took her car. He was going to drive to Halifax, where he had the waiting police car there. And I don't know where he was going to go from there. But he had zero to do with the Shuby turnoff, shootout, Stevenson nonsense. There was no silver tracker. I believe the silver tracker may in actuality be as a result of their tweet. They somehow got a tip that Mr. Wortman was driving this silver tracker, and they shot Mr. Weber accidentally and killed him. And the Shuby turnoff, again, was a police on police thing. Now, I understand that that may sound tinfoil. I'll put it on. It's a working theory. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just simply saying that that is my working theory at this point in time, because what they tell us does not make any sense. The fact that CERT's involved, the fact that he's saying right there he can't talk about it. What he is saying, you have to read between the lines, is he's saying, one, I've been ordered not to speak about it. And number two, oh, you can do custom logos and memes? Oh, that would be awesome. I could use thumbnails or something. I'm retarded with all that stuff. And I'd love to have an intro one day, an intro. Maybe I should speak to Jim Bitway about that too. He's very good at that. So the silver tracker is not part of the story because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit anywhere in the picture, and it comes along quite late in the game. We don't know anything about the silver tracker at all until, have you got your link in there? Oh, Hillbilly Honky. I suppose I have to drop the link in, right? Let's just drop your link in. Where's that? No, that's not what I want. So let me know what you think of that. I'm going to get the proofs together to say why I say that. But let me know what you think in the chat right now. I'm curious. If you think that that's a plausible theory. Looking at all the details, I'm thinking that's what's happened. And of course, what are they then going to have to admit to? They're going to have to admit to friendly fire. They're going to have to admit to culpability in Stevenson's death. Is there something beyond why she died? I don't know. Or was it just simply an accident? I'm just going to go non-tinfoily at this point and just go with it was an accident. It was an accident that Mr. Weber was killed again by police fire. And again, this is just speculative, but and that we've been deceived about all of this. So let me see. Hillbilly Honky. I don't know, why don't I just click on your name? Is that the best way to do it? Hillbilly Honky. At Hillbilly Honky. Hillbilly Honky. Can I not visit your channel or something? Remove. Hide user on this channel. How the hell do I go to your channel? Just search you? I'm assuming that there's a lot of hillbilly honkies out there. I'm gonna guess. Honky channel. Oh no, there you are. Came right up. Awesome. All right, we'll give you a plug, sir. We'll give you a plug, sir. There we go. Paste. Hillbilly Honky. I'll go check out your stuff. Plausible theory for sure. Okay, so let's just go through here a little bit. I should get my glasses. I need my glasses. I'm going to go get my glasses. I never wear these things. I paid like a fortune for them. I should wear them. Let's see. Open people's eyes. Okay, so we have hillbilly honkies. I have family in Edmonton, although I do not live there myself. Close. Open the eyes of people. The only thing that makes sense, that's the only thing that makes sense right now. Little gray cells. Besides being Irish with great hair, what else represents you? I might play an intro. What else represents me? I don't know. Truth. Autism, probably. Weaponized autism. I like that term, weaponized autism. They sure closed Heidi's case fast to the public. Well, they just shut down. They've shut down. Frankly, I'm very surprised that they even did the last press conference. I'm surprised. I don't think you're going to hear very much out of them. In my experience, I'm experienced with some matters to do with the RCMP, particularly the Quebec mosque shooting, which I know was an absolute. We all got snowed on that one. It was a gigantic fuck. And the RCMP, of course, shut down right away. We're not going to talk about it. We cleaned up the scene in 2 seconds, no problem. And you never hear about it again. And then he goes and changes his plea after a year and a half at the 11:59:59 in the morning. He plead, meaning figuratively, in the morning of the actual start of his trial. He's like, yes, I plead not guilty to all this stuff. And then immediately they have a recess and they come back from the recess. And he's like, oh, you know what? I plead guilty to this now. Yeah. But the RCMP have very good way of shutting things down. Who was the dude that was running away from the burning cars in the videos? Again, I don't know. That wouldn't work in my theory that it was Wortman, but you can't tell whether it's Wortman or not because it's too far away, you know. And again, they have access to all this stuff, right? So they have access to enhancing the video, that kind of software and stuff. They could tell us, but they don't. They're not telling you about a dead person. This would be the first gigantic red flag. Why can't they tell you about a dead person? Being Wortman. He's dead. He's not going to trial. But this is what they're going to use as... That's why they said, well, we need to investigate it as though he were still alive. Meaning, translation, it's going to take us years and years, and it will go out of your consciousness, and you'll forget about it because we'll start telling you about killer bees or whatever the hell they're telling you about now. CBC, like, where's CBC? The most massive mass murder in Canadian history, and they are talking about killer bees and sidewalk cafes in Latvia. It's very strange. Plausible theory for sure. Anything possible to this point. thanks to the lack of information by the RCMP. This is what they're using as a weapon, right? We don't tell you anything, therefore you don't know. So you can't do any kind of looking into what they're saying. Sorry, I'm back here on some comments. I think Stevenson pitted Morrison and they shot each other out thinking that Wortman, and unfortunately Morrison got the better shot. I agree. I think the two cruisers, and that's why my theory, you never see any shots of Gina Goulet's house. The only thing I've ever been able to find post the massacre is one very short clip from CTV, and it was done on either the 23rd or the 24th, because they do these changes in articles, right? So was the video made on the 23rd or the 24th? I think it was 23rd or the 24th. Could have been the 22nd, 23rd, I'm not sure. And they just had a very brief few frames of a video showing Gina Goulet's house post this murder. So, and there's no crime tape. So they've cleaned up that crime scene like lickety-split, real fast, to which there's two shootings, apparently, the dog and her. So that's going to take some time to go through and do a diligent job on looking at. Yet there's no crime tape. So, and I would say that that's why, because the cruiser was at that location. Wortman's cruiser was at that location. So they had to get it out of there. They had to clean that up, lickety-split, so that nobody would know that the cruiser was there, because that would completely tank their story about Stevenson getting shot by Wortman. Tweeted out your, yes, sorry, I should sub to your channel there. Hillbilly. Here we go. Subbed. I'll give you the ding. Hopefully people are subbing and dinging on this channel too. Not that it seems to do anything. You never get notifications of these things, you know. tl.long at live.com. That's Tara's email address, and you can donate and you won't get stiffed on. And again, I have to say that this is just for her estate, establishing next of kin for the estate. It has nothing to do with any kind of class action. I never want that to be misunderstood. So thank you, Ozzy. You've been such a huge help, all you guys. Thanks for the support. Awesome. Truth and forthrightness. When are we going to get that? Is not honesty something that we should have in our society? Is that not a good moral thing to have? Should not the police, right? Should they not be actually showing this to our children? Is this not a quality that we want to have in our society? Yeah. Stand-up people. That's what we should have. Stand-up people. And there's tons of good police in there, I'm sure. But that blue line, ooh, you don't want to cross that. You don't want to cross that at all. Must have him popping out of a bunch of rabbit holes. How was it... FC, I'm not sure, Bridget. Sorry, I can't interpret what that's saying. Oh, about the Quebec mosque? Well, I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll take my videos out of private and leave it with you. And there's a bunch of evidence I have never shown about some of the crime scene stuff. There was a video that was made by I can't remember what newspaper did it, and he had a very good in on the mosque. I believe actually he was how do you say it? An attendant, a congregant of the mosque. And he also worked for which paper? I can't remember. It wasn't like the Gazette or anything. It was like some paper that's major, but it's not well known to the rest of Canada. Totally French, francophone paper. And so he went in there, and right away when the police opened it up, and he got some video, and that video was very interesting. Because the crime scene kind of looked a little bit different. Remember the shoes? I'll leave you with that. There's one hint. The shoes. You remember how they tweeted out about the shoes and how all of these, they tugged on your heartstrings about the shoes of all the attendants? Well, there were shoes all over the crime scene in the actual mosque, as well as some blood seemed to appear out of nowhere. Very strange. That came in the show and tell the next day. Defend Canada is my baby. I wasted, but I wanted my own channel to promote my values. Excellent. Well, everybody needs to promote their stuff. I'm gonna check your stuff out, man. I used to live in Quebec, eh? Yeah, I drove down there. This is the kind of research I do. I actually went to Quebec. I actually went to Bissonnette's, one of Bissonnette's hearings. It was all very interesting. Good, fun stuff. Not that probably anybody who doesn't have a completely, hyper-focused. Where were we at here? Geez, lots of comments. You guys are all so good. Sorry if I'm missing anything here. Bissonnette's story will come out. I suspect it will. Maybe one day. Maybe his twin will start talking. The twin, you say? Who's the twin? Wow, everybody got real duped. The victims' families are angry. Well, we should all be angry. Should we not? Should we not? Taxpayer funded. CBC, taxpayer funded. Not pushing real good honesty values here. We're pushing bees. Bees, don't you know? And fear porn about COVID. Everybody's dying. Oh, my Lord. Can we... It's just debt. How many people are suffering because of this? Really suffering. Like they're going to lose their homes. The financial ramifications, I probably shouldn't get too far off topic, but the financial ramifications of COVID are going to be unbelievable. Unbelievable. But this is exactly what the bankers want. They want massive amounts of debt. Massive amounts of debt. Companies, little small businesses, mom and pop shops that have been open for a long time are shutting down, going bankrupt. Come in, you scoop it up. It's real good. It's all good business sense. Very good business sense. Lots of people are going to suffer. English area hillbillies. No, yep, absolutely. There's no yellow stripe on his leg. Oh, I was going to do that. I should probably do a separate stream because I don't like to do them too long, even though you guys are great. I don't think that people watch, 5-hour streams, but maybe I'm wrong. And definitely the numbers seem to be petering, which is sad. It's going to drift away in public consciousness. But I researched the availability of police paraphernalia, i.e. uniforms, etc. from the RCMP. I researched the law. I researched their books on how they handle uniforms. All uniforms have to be turned in immediately when you retire, whenever. You can get special approval from the commissioner, And then I did some, let's see, maybe I still have that open. Where did I do that? Is that in here? What's this here? Oh yes, that's the name of the fisheries. If you're still in here, Steve, it's Millbrook Fisheries, by the way. Not that I'm trying to dox them. They didn't do anything bad. It's just somebody he wanted to talk to. Where are we at here? Oh, I wasn't even sharing my screen, so it doesn't matter. Now, let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. I'll do a separate video on this because I don't want to keep it long, but let's go here. Okay. So, Frank Magazine had an excellent article, by the way, on all this. More details, which I should get into at some point. Now, where was it here? Oh, that's the... Okay, so I went to see if I could get uniforms or anything to do RCMP uniforms. Went over to eBay. There were... this is the kind of stuff that they're selling. I did find this badge. One badge. And that was it. Okay, moving along. This was from Kage. We had 11 things. There's an old style badge. Again, this is what kind of stuff is sold. It's just, you got an iron. You can get an iron, don't you know? Because I somehow that's RCMP associated. Friggin' algorithms are stupider than a special needs stick. Okay. So there's nothing over on Kage. Then I went to the Mountie store. Well, there's nothing there for clothing. Then I went to, no, sorry, I was just archiving stuff because I want to make sure I've got copies of that because archiving is great. Here we go, operator pants, very good. Do you see that there's a slight difference with these pants? There's a slight difference. Let's see if I can blow this up here. Open link. Where are you going to open up? There we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, fucking OneNote. You're tardoness. Okay. Here we go. Pants. Pants. Do you see a difference with these pants? They've got pockets and breaks and things all over it. Where was it that they, let's look at the pictures that they issued for the pants that they said that he had. Where is that? Timeline. Timeline. Oh, no. I swear I saved the pants. There we go. This is the pants that they say he had, right? So, because whatever his name is, I can't remember the name of the new fellow that they've got in place of Leather because Leather couldn't do it, apparently. This is the pants that they say that he has. And they're saying, oh, you can get real gear online and stuff like that. You absolutely cannot. You cannot get real gear online. I'm sure that there are a few people out there that have it. But it's a serious no-no. It's actually against their codes. Let's have a look at that. So this is the regulations from 2014. If we go down here, I highlighted a couple of portions. Significant uniform. The significant uniform of the force is designed by the material. It consists of the felt hat, scarlet tunic, blue breeches with a yellow cavalry stripe on each side, brown Strathcona boots, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the pants is the major thing here. The commissioner may authorize a member who has resigned or been discharged to wear a significant uniform, or may specify the conditions and circumstances under which it may be worn. But you have to get the commissioner approval. Marginal note, return of clothing and kit. So this is everything. This is their shirts, the blue shirts, anything that they have. Police cap, whatever. Every member must, upon release from special duty or special assignment, or upon ceasing to be a member of the force, or as otherwise directed by the commissioner, return to the force all articles of clothing and kit and other articles of clothing and kit condemned in accordance to the force's policies, or articles, clothing, and kit purchased by the member. That's why you can't find clothing, because they're supposed to turn it in. It's a big no-no to have it. Now I went and looked for police cars, because they were saying, funnily enough, the article that I was reading cited this particular website. So I was like, oh, okay. They're like, you can get a real police car online. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. This website is out of the United States, number one. Number two, so this is not it is a 2019 Ford Taurus Police Interceptor, to which, again, we have to remember he had 4. 2 of his cruisers were marked, by the way, not just 1, 2, fully. Were they replicas? I don't think so. I don't think so. And this is from some boondock off in the middle of nowhere U.S. Sheriff's Office. You cannot get a RCMP cruiser. So then I was like, okay, let's look at salvage auctions. And they only had the one car. Again, this was the one that was cited. This website was cited. They're like, oh my God, you can get real police cars online. And this was the grand total of police cars that they had online. One from some out in the middle of nowhere sheriff's office in the United States, trying to get that into Canada. Have fun. And the car is in terrible shape. Like, what are you going to do with this car? It's completely destroyed. Let's go to their link. I can't remember what article that was from. I should go and grab that, actually. I know I did. Open link. You're going to open. Somewhere it's opened. Here we go. Oh, lot no longer exists. It's gone. I did archive it, though. But, you know, the car was in awful shape. Like, I don't think you're going to be driving this car, more than likely. You could, but you'd have to spend friggin' piles of money on this. And good luck getting it into Canada. Hi, I'd like to bring this police interceptor, fully marked up cruiser through the border, Canadian Border Patrol, who's also involved in this investigation, by the way. That would have to do with the weapons that he was getting out of the U.S. Just saying. There's a bit of coverage on this in Japan. It was so big. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's major news. And for like a nice little province, you know, sadly, I can see that there's a lot of drugs and there's a lot of corruption going on down there. Corruption everywhere. I just thought that it wasn't like that before. And Terry used to talk to me about it, and I was like, oh, you know, I thought she was just kind of using hyperbole. Oh, no. Now I see how bad this truly is. Let's get it, Snowbirds. Do a tribute. Yeah, it's all forgotten. Yeah. It's got to get you. This is why, you see, and I understand that there's 55 of you in here right now, and this is awesome, but you'll see the video analytics people's interest is feigning, and that's because what they do is they use the psychological warfare of keep telling you about bees and COVID and everything else, and they bombard your mind with all kinds of things other than the real crime, which they try to bury. And then people lose interest, and then this will disappear. And when it does disappear, the problem is with that is it just elevates more and more power. Listen, we got away with this one this time again. We got away with it this time again. We can just keep doing this to people. And it won't cease to have more and more of this adversarial position to which the RCMP now subscribe and have been subscribing to for a very long time, it appears. But it keeps getting progressively worse. Whereas in their actual codes, it talks about some very interesting stuff about, where was that? Is that here? About how, to treat the public and their codes of conduct, which I looked into. And they have to, be respectful, polite, answer people's questions. They serve us, not themselves. But this is what has happened in our society. It's not just the RCMP. This permeates across many different police departments. And I'm not throwing by any stretch every police person into this category of nonsense. But it's the silence by other really good cops, to which most of them are. It's the silence by them not coming out and saying, listen here, something terrible happened. We've got to own up. We've got to change things here. No, and they will go after their own members. I've been investigating some things where they will literally, if you guys remember the taser case out in the Vancouver airport, where the Polish guy got tased to death, the RCMP did that. The man is now suing, who is still a member, funnily enough. He's suing the RCMP for throwing him under the bus to help keep their image. He's an RCMP member still, and he's suing them for throwing him under the bus just so that they can protect their police entity. We are way more effective, way more powerful as a collective. Absolutely, Missy. Absolutely. Nothing shows me that more than people that come in here and watch and help and support. And I think that this gets a lot more views than, YouTube tells me about. I've never believed any of their garbage. Plus, I know people download it and show it elsewhere. And I also know from the amount of responses that I get from people, right, who reach out to me and say, listen, I live here. Here's some pictures of this. This is what I know. I mean, I get some really great stuff. Really great stuff. It's unbelievable. But a lot of people are afraid. This one person sent me a message today of some things, and they said, they're a lot of people in their family and stuff like that, they were personally affected by this, don't want to say anything, and they don't want to say anything because as a result of that, they're afraid of their family members turning on them. But they said, I want to keep you in the loop as much as possible. Just please understand my position, and I do. My heart goes out to these people because this is what has happened. People shut down because they're afraid. The fear that lives in all of us, that has been living in all of us for, I maintain, generations. And there are specific units. If you look into the psychological warfare division of the OSS and how that was being conducted and is being conducted every day. Every day. You don't need to be in war. That unit operates all the time. And in fact, most of its stuff is all during peacetime. And we equally have the same types of things. So groups here in Canada that do those kinds of things. Psychological warfare. You got the media doing it too, right? They pump out fear, 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 fear. All these terrible things are happening. Shootings are happening everywhere. Everybody's dying of COVID. Everybody, and then it does something to your mind. It makes you feel very weak and powerless, and it's traumatic. It's mass trauma, and it affects the way that people think and how they would normally act, which is tragic. Apparently, it was a head-on collision, not a pit maneuver. Yeah, Leather was. He didn't really touch on that. He did quasi acknowledge that there was a request made to do a pit maneuver, but again, he's being very close-lipped. But the head-on collision, I can't quite see it because the damage is only on one car, and it's not significant. Like 911 only, 3 videos, choppers, thousands of people in the area. But again, they ask for all of your information. They take people's videos, then they take. There he is up there saying, whatever his name is, I forget his name. The new fellow. Please give us all of your stuff. Please call us right away. Well, my response to that is, I would love to if I was a citizen, if you were trustworthy, but you're not. So anybody who speaks to them, they shut them down. They tell them not to speak to anybody. Another red flag. How many of these people have autopsies, right? Tara's asked for the autopsy, and they've told her no. This is her brother. You can't come and view the body. Absolutely not. He will be cremated. He wanted to be cremated, so that's fine. That fits everything. And I hope I'm not talking out of turn here or getting something incorrect, but I believe that that's true. The RCMP said that, not to her directly, but via the ME's office, they said, no, you cannot have an autopsy, even though one has been done. A full autopsy. But they won't even give her a piece. And it is in the Fatalities Inquiries Act of Nova Scotia that she is allowed to have a copy. If she requests one, they have to give her one. And if a man is dead, why do you need to hide it? Why do you need to hide? The man is dead. Wortman is dead. So it's not like there's going to be a trial. Tara goes and asks for a full autopsy. She can get it. It's not like there's going to be a trial. So holding this information is complete balls. Head-on crash with minimal damage. Yeah. Down, I don't sub to, okay. Did you see the video of Gina Goulet's house close up? Yes, I played it in some other video here. I don't know where I have that. It's not even titled that at all. It's about victims' families. Let's see, maybe I can find it here. Where was it? Questions. Had a good idea. Guns used in. How do you not have See, this kind of thing is more bullshit right here. Bullshit alarm goes way off the charts when I hear this kind of stuff. Police have a good idea. Guns used in Nova Scotia mass shooting were not licensed. A good, quote, good idea. Do you know who runs the PAL program? Registered guns? Oh, that would be the RCMP. So let me see. Let me see how long it takes to type in Gabriel Wortman. Oh, good idea. I think that, you might find that some of the firearms that are being used are where is it here? There you go, Smith & Wesson 5946. Might be some of his weapons. Wonder if you showed a picture to Paul Wortman, if he would recognize it. He's seen some of Gabriel's weapons. I'd love to talk to him one day, but I mean, the guy, I really, my heart goes out to him. You found the silver tracker. Okay, Todd. Oh, it's in Area 51. Bulldozing. Yeah, the tracker is like a. Do you remember Momar Belkadir? This is I have certain titles for things. Momar Belkadir, the witness, the second shooting suspect who then became a witness who then disappeared. I got a video of him too, by the way. From the Quebec mosque shooting. Remember him? He just went in the wind. Yeah. The silver tracker is in the wind. It's a Momar Belkadir. Bulldozing properties had made no sense. Yep. They didn't do time to do a thorough investigation before everything was destroyed. That site would have taken a very long time to go through thoroughly because it was on fire. So they'd have to go through, sift through those pieces, slow but sure, going through and waiting for it to dry, and then trying to, cordoned off the area. Nobody could go in there except, to actually put out the fire, and that was about it. Then they'd have to wait for that to dry. Then they'd have to go through the bullet casings if they could find them, mark them all in there in the household. Once it had been stabilized, there is a procedure that the fire investigators do in collaboration with police departments. So it's stabilizing the household. Somebody said that to me the other day. It's like, oh, well, the house had to be destroyed because it was dangerous. No, they have very good ways of dealing with that. They brace things so things don't fall on people. They do it all the time. They're very used to it. No, they got a backhoe in there and wrecked it whilst they're still putting out the fire. The guy's spraying the hose literally on the house, and they're backhoeing it. You think you're going to find any shell casings in there? You think you're going to find any evidence? I'm being really facetious. Sorry for sounded off to your group O, but I will give you many looks. Peace. Who paid for the bulldozing? Interesting question. Interesting question. I don't know. Speculate. It's all speculative. Don't go get free demolition. Well, I think that's kind of part of tax stuff. Fire departments pick that up. That's part of county taxes and municipal taxes, those kinds of things. They have kind of a budget to pay for those kinds of things. I would think. I mean, the victims of families wouldn't have to pay for it, I'm sure. That would be horrific. Not sure of the speeds, but they also do have crash bumpers. Yes, but I mean, the one car, to the best, I haven't got good angles. And, if again, people keep finding stuff, please keep sending it to me. I really appreciate it. The angles I've seen damage on one car, but the other car on one corner, but the other car appears to be fine on the front end. So I have an issue with this collision. It doesn't make sense. Crash bumpers don't remove crumple zones. Crash bumpers destroy cars is what they do. It's boom. Crash bumper. Does anyone know what company was used for the bulldozing? That's a great question. I wonder if that's a super question, Missy. Gosh, I hope people are writing stuff down because my memory is just so full of stuff. Let's see if we can see anything on that backhoe. No. Not that picture for sure. It's just yellow. There's no indicative markings as to who's doing it. But again, there's somebody doing it, right? So if this video gets around, perhaps that person will come forward and be like, well, yes, I was requested to. Like, look at this shit, man. Seriously, look at this picture. I wish I had this uploaded on my computer. I'll show you. Look at that. They're literally going like deep into the foundation of the house, and the man is still putting it out. And they're like backhoeing the shit out of that house, like taking everything out. Like that, there's no way you could do any kind of a crime scene on that. The police should be accountable for good times, bad, honesty, loyalty, integrity. You'd love to see my old videos? Well, I'll put them out again at some point. I got a couple hundred, I think, that were listed before. Maybe not that many. I have tons on my computer I never released, but they were pretty good, I think, at one point. And I didn't do like long streams. I only got into the streaming thing not that long ago, because I quit for a year because I took a different stance on things politically. I kind of looked a little bit bigger into things, and I was very disaffected when I started learning very big picture history stuff and who's fucking messing with things. I was very, very upset, and the amount of lying really hurt me, and I had been a part of that system. So I felt quite bad because I had been used as a dupe to go after. I didn't go after. I reported the news, like I reported things accurately, of course, and I did my due diligence research as best as I could. But I mean, I was going, particularly after the Islamic community, and in reality, how is it that the Islamic community gets here in the first place? You know, who's the one that pushes that? That's when I started researching that, and who funds the movements behind, coming down on Islamic people, and to which I am not exonerating them by any stretch at all. I'm not saying, Islamic people, there are bad people in all groups of people. Irish people, bad people. There's, it's just the way it is, right? But to promote hate, etc., was coming from somewhere much higher. And when I started to do searching the financial stuff, and yeah, it was really quite bad. I felt quite badly that I was a part of that. We've all been duped. Yeah. Mass immigration. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, who pushes the mass immigration, right? I'm trying to stay focused on the Nova Scotia stuff because this is really important, but who pushes the mass immigration? Who pushes that? You gotta look. You have to look at who's doing it. Because these people don't have lots of money, right? And yet they come here, and yes, many of them sadly do have different values. They don't quite understand the way that things work, but you want that because it's divisive. It causes people to turn on each other and become nasty individuals. Who wants that? Who wants that? They didn't want that, right? Necessarily, no. Someone with an agenda. There you go. Who's the someone with the agenda? Who's the someone with the agenda? They have names, but and I came back and I didn't really even ever get an opportunity to start getting into it when this all went down. But I still think he was working for the feds, moving drugs for jails, etc., using the car. I mean, yeah, I think that's a very plausible theory. I think that's really plausible theory. I think he could go down to the border in an RCMP car. I've kind of thought about it a little bit. I'm like, he could go to the border with an RCMP car, right? He could, I think RCMP has certain jurisdictions that they can, say, whatever, and he can run around with drugs in his car. Just saying. Maybe it has something to do with the corrections officers. Who knows? He knew them, which is interesting, and nobody's denied that. They're very secretive about it, but they acknowledge, yes, they were known to one another. Now, why does Mr. Wortman, who makes dentures, know corrections officers who don't live in his area? Seems rather strange, and especially Mr. Wortman, who seemingly is not a very good character at times, for sure. The father spoke about that. I'm not saying he was bad all the time, but he clearly had some issues, some big issues, and the father spoke about it. So why is it that he knows corrections officers? He was never incarcerated, to the best of my knowledge. Yeah. Tonya does some really great digging on that kind of stuff. You get a $50 surcharge, for beating a teen with a crowbar with your friend, who was apparently at a bus stop. And the bus stop isn't even in front of his denture clinic. He was walking to the bus stop and he got grabbed by the back of the neck. I liked how they've changed that too. They've left out a lot of details about this poor boy. And maybe he's complicit in something bad. I don't know. But the media has just said, oh, he got grabbed by the back of the neck and punched in the head. Well, it was actually quite a much more severe beating than that. He was grabbed by the back of the shirt or neck or whatever, and then he was hit with a crowbar and then punched repeatedly by Mr. Wortman, who was apparently intoxicated at the time, and then he and his friend, grown man, stomped on this 15-year-old's head repeatedly. Now, that's a little bit different than just grabbing somebody by the back of the neck, punching them, which is obviously illegal and terrible, but they didn't want to talk about the crowbar and things, and he gets a $50 fine, and he got 9 months probation and a weapons prohibition for 3 years. That was kind of news to me. I'm a little familiar with some of that stuff, and to get only a 3-year prohibition on weapons, like usually those kinds of things result in lifetime prohibition on weapons. But it didn't matter. He didn't have legal guns anyways. Or did he have, I don't know, maybe, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Maybe, just maybe. That's why the autopsy reports go away. Because you might find out that perhaps he was shooting with RCMP weapons, which is why CERT is involved with the weapons. I feel fairly confident in those things. Again, they're working theories, and I don't have all the evidence, but it definitely is a very strong circumstantial case to say that these things is what is going on. And that's why the burying's going on. Because the police can't admit that. But they do. That's the other thing. And this is why I need to get the little clips. They do admit, like even this fellow, whatever his name is, the new fellow. I should know his name. This is terrible. But names sometimes elude me. Just as pronunciations of, can I say it properly? Shu Ben Ikadi, I think. Shubi. I just use. Shubi. This man, he says, well, we're looking at whether that he had help obtaining these items, the equipment, as he calls it, the equipment, which is a pretty blanket statement. Last time I checked, equipment was things that were used in sporting events. But you see, it's the newspeak. They don't want to say cars, uniforms, potentially guns. You can call it equipment. And that's a nice feel-good term and sends most people on their way. They're like, oh, okay, equipment. No big deal. I know equipment. My son has sporting equipment. They took the buildings in trucks, and then people said the trucks hauled away all the evidence and how the buildings went down. Last quote. Are you speaking of 9/11? Yeah, 9/11. I mean, they did the same thing. Do you see? They just get rid of everything. Nobody could ever test anything. It all got recycled right away. So is that what happened to these houses? I think these houses just were gone. I still think he was working for the feds moving drugs using his car. The bigger pick, yeah, the bigger pick. Big picture. But this is why I'm kind of passionate about the smaller type cases. They may appear to be small cases, but funnily enough, they have ramifications that people really, unless you sit and think about it from a kind of a different perspective. The mosque shooting was a massive one worldwide, and that transformed literally the collective consciousness of the entire developed world to, don't ask any questions about immigration at all. But if you look at how that was done, it was Mr. Trump down in Americas talking about the quote Muslim ban, and then it went to Mr. Trudeau tweeting the day before the mosque shooting, we will take all refugees here. It's a safe sanctuary. And then boom, you have the shooting. How convenient. How very convenient. But it changed the whole, transforms the public mindset. It's psychological warfare. Very much so. Huge psychological warfare. Also Charlottesville, North Carolina. Very big one. Changed the entire collective thinking for a lot of people. And then people get cognitive dissonance. They're like, well, I know something's not going right. I see the crime rates skyrocketing in my community, or whatever. And I'm seeing, things like up in Edmonton, where Chief Knack likes to make sure that he buries certain murder victims' names because he doesn't want you to know where they come from. Because then you might understand, if you knew that it was lots of Somalis, well, then you might be like, well, why is there such a problem in the Somali community? But if he tells you, and then goes around and tells all of the police chiefs in Alberta, listen, We can do this. Let's sign an agreement that we can choose to selectively release names on the premise of privacy. If you dig deep enough, you start finding out who the people are that they're keeping private. Problems. Haven't seen much on the victim's family doing interviews. If this was real, it's real. It's absolutely real. People died, but people are getting silenced. They're being told they can't talk. If you talk about this stuff, it's bad. That's why psychological warfare. I hope this one is. I used to talk about this a bunch, and YouTube, when I started talking about it a few years ago, YouTube got very angry and banned my videos about it. Even though I just used pure citations. That's it. I talked about this, C.D. Jackson and who he was and what he represented and things like this. So that's why they came out right away with this event. You must love Mounties. They start the interviews with we come out on work day. How convenient. You come out on whatever work day it is, and we'll start talking about Heidi Stevenson and Chad Morrison, the injured cop. But you notice they never mention, and then it's kind of an afterthought about the 21 other people who have been murdered. And they never mention another injured person. But you talk about an injured cop. You see, and it's the feel good. We are protecting you. We do love you. You must love us. We are heroes. It's psychological warfare, because then you can't think about the fact, oh my God, maybe the police did something wrong here. It's a gigantic, very well orchestrated public relations psychological warfare that's been mounted on people in this case. So a lot of people are very afraid to ask questions, and they just shut down. The fire chief has to do an arson report, explain what accelerants are used, etc., etc. Yeah, I mean, that takes time. They can't answer even about that. Oh, were there bombs used? Were there grenades? Were there something or other? Well, that's all part of our investigation, don't you know? It's going to take a very long time. Meanwhile, you're going to have umpteen other gazillion things hit you over the head, like killer bees and things, and then all of a sudden nobody remembers it anymore. Easy when you have a family and badges or you're a confidential informant. It's a video of burning cars, guardrail funeral for Heidi, and to chat about that. I'm not sure. I haven't watched the video of the funeral. There's another one. Okay, you want to see the psychological warfare? You want to see the psychological warfare? Watch this. I was so angry when I saw this because obviously I've just been watching it the whole time as it's been going along. So this happened right afterward. And when I get a call at midnight from a friend of mine telling me that her a significant chunk of her family has just been massacred, and the police aren't going to tell her anything. She doesn't know anything, and they didn't tell her anything for fucking days. And thank God, please donate to that, because she needs that money to even get an answer from the RCMP. Hit him! God damn it! If I was practicing out in fucking Nova Scotia, I'd be hitting them with writ of habeas corpus immediately. There wouldn't be a question about this. They wouldn't even know what hit them if I practiced out there. But not that I'm a practicing lawyer, but anyway, this makes me so mad. Mad. Where was the tape here? Here we go. The video sadly is very choppy. This is what happened right after. Psychological warfare, people. This is what the police did. Does this look like they're serving and protecting you? Were they doing this for other families? Were they, having this fucking gigantic parade? No. They're having this parade for one person. Other people are probably still rotting, burning, and the police are out there driving their comrade out. And you're to think, oh my goodness, police, they're so hard done by. Get out of here. Get out of here. They signed up for that job, and like Clinton said, Clinton Ellison, who CBC fucking edited his video, where he says, listen, you guys just sat here at the end while people were getting shot and burned alive. And you guys just sat here and you sat down in Great Village. You just sat there. And I'm hiding out in the forest, freezing my ass off to the point that I actually literally have to be treated with for hypothermia. These people did not protect these people. And now they're adversarial and working against all Canadians. And this is absurd. And it has to stop, because it will only get worse. It just keeps getting worse. Trust me, I know these cases. I've looked at them for years. This is all I do. It's not like I'm fortunate that way. I don't have to have a job. So I plug through all this garbage, and I have plugged through it for garbage for fucking years. So I understand things on a, seriously, I don't think people understand how much data I go through. It is unbelievable. Terabytes of data is my monthly bill. Always. So I'm very familiar with what the fuck is going on a small level, and quasi-familiar with what is going on a bigger level. And I'll tell you, it is so vast, it would make people's heads spin. I can't even hardly sleep at night some days. But the important part is that we recognize what's going on here. Why are these people, if Clinton's out there freezing his ass off, why are these people protecting their own? Why are they not answering questions when they are paid to protect us? Why are they sitting there and saying, oh, no. Why are they having CERT investigating them? Why do they have massive amounts of cases, CERT, against the RCMP? CERT. Look at this and think about that for a moment. These cases are pretty horrendous if you start going through them too. CERT, Nova Scotia. They're pretty bad. Gang rapes. This is police, for fuck's sakes. What's going on? Publications. Again, I am not labeling all police, but they've got some serious bad problems in here. And why are we sitting around, farting around, fucking around, and listening to this stuff, and people aren't standing up and simply saying, no, we're not going to tolerate your shit anymore. Clean up your act. You're supposed to be the adults in the room. Clean it up. Unbelievable. Here's a rape. This is fucking fantastic. I don't know. Just pick anything randomly. Let's see what this RCMP one is. Some of these are beatings and things like that, but I mean, and you're going to get people who make false accusations. You're going to get criminals. But CERT is mandated to investigate all allegations of sexual assault against a police officer. I don't understand this one at all, but anyway. Oh, I think it was cops on cop rape. That's great. Yum. Remember the RCMP RCMP, right, have a serious problem with the sexual harassment. Sexual harassment, RCMP, class action. There's another one. RCMP faces $1.1 billion for bullying and harassment that dates back decades. Here, instead of doing the right thing, no, we're going to fight. We're going to fight in court. We're going to spend more taxpayer dollars. $100 million settlement in RCMP sexual harassment case. How about the doctors? Where was that? Sexual harassment, RCMP doctors. There was another one. Female Mounties allege sexual abuse by doctor in RCMP health office. Thanks for your paywall, you shit ass. Oh. And we're not talking about like 2 or 3 here. We're talking about a lot. A lot of people, a lot of women. Disgusting. Again, teaching good core values, police. Thank you. Clean up your room. Clean up your room. How did Concan's brother die? Did he get shot inside his home? Does she have an autopsy? That's why I'm trying to raise money so that hopefully she can get some of these answers. She can get a lawyer, she can establish next of kin, and she can get an autopsy. The RCMP to actually spit it out, to which they have, and they have admitted that they have. And again, I'm you know, some of this is coming hearsay, obviously, because it's coming through me versus from Tara. But to the best of my understanding, the ME office turned her down. I know that one. And they cited that the RCMP is not disclosing autopsies. Unbelievable. Why? Because you don't want to talk about maybe how he died. We know that 9 people died as a result of fire, and they got all sketchy in the French portion of that, but I think that has to do with the first 2 people who died, who seemingly, and he's been, do you remember, you know, it's these kinds of details that my mind sticks to. I'm very, I don't know if you want to call me anal, maybe I'm borderline autistic, I don't know, but I become very focused on what I see, right? And so when he's talking about the problems that they were having with answering the French reporters' questions, and they kept asking for clarification about the female victims, or this man asks about, if you have any details on that. He's fishing the reporter for details. It's very interesting how they do these things. They're not operating above board. That is most certain. Yes, Missy, I completely agree with you. We can solve this collectively. Collectively is oh, Jesus, flashed out something there. Collectively, we can solve these kinds of things. And maybe it won't be this one. I hope to God it will be, but, you know, more and more people get in that mindset. We can do things together. We have shared values, good, moral, shared values. Maybe Christian even. You know, I remember the days when church bells rang. When the hell did that go away? I was meant to talk to my mom about that, and she's like, well, my church bells still ring. I said, yeah, but you also look at the parish you belong to, Mom. Going to be the last one that they're going to stop ringing. You guys have too much money. Anyway, been at 3 hours, 20 minutes. I don't want to keep you guys up late, but I really do hope, please donate to Concan's case. That's good human nature, right? Give what you can if you can. If you can, you know, otherwise just give your thoughts and prayers. And do the research. Send me stuff, send Steve stuff, send Adrian stuff. Look at their stuff. They're working real hard too. And let's keep this one alive. You know, download the videos, share them, talk to your friends about them. Let's start challenging CBC when they start acting out of line. Give them a spank. Wake them up. I've done it before. And they do change. So, you know, go over there and drop all kinds of wonderful love on them about cutting out Clinton. And are you reporting the news? Are you reporting the news, or are you using your agenda and spinning the news? Unbelievable. Every day, people wake up. Honestly, I hope to see more of Canada waking up. Yep. Well, I'll tell you, Mercer, I love the folks on here. I love you guys, honestly, because you guys got it. You know, that's why the name of this channel is what it is. It's Gray Cells. Use the brain that God gave you. I mean, it is the most powerful weapon. That and truth that will get us free of this junk that we have, this evil that rules the world. Evil. And it is, when I say evil, it is literally evil. It's disgusting, and it's sad, and it's sick. And our children don't need to grow up in this world like this. They simply do not. Thank you, Missy. I really appreciate all of your support. I really, really do. And thank you. Stay strong. Blessings for all your guys' hard work. Because honestly, you know, it's not something that one guy with some, you know, in some fucking town is going to solve, talking on YouTube, you know. Time for talk is done. That's also been massaged into our brains. Or, you know, there's nothing you can do. I often get hit with that one. There is nothing that you can do. I didn't grow up in a household like that. You know, I've never spoken about who I am in my background. But I'll tell you, you know, my grandmother literally did transform certain things in this country from the fucking ground up. And you know, I was raised with that. You can make a difference. You yourself. Don't ever believe that you can't do something. Because you can. You have to get associated with good people, with like values, who do research, who, you know, get a good journalist involved. You know, I'm on the hunt for one who is, because sadly I don't really contact anybody anymore. But, you know, if anybody knows of anybody, I'm going to reach out to Frank Magazine, I think. And maybe you guys can tweet him and just say to him, listen, there's somebody who is really working hard, trying. There's a group of people. And would you mind talking with him? That would be good. Journalists, a good journalist. My grandmother taught me this. And she, who is it? God, I forget the guy's name. I can go and look in a book and I'll find it. And he was really good. He was so good. And he started transforming the way that people thought about things. And that swell changed everything with Diefenbaker until Diefenbaker had to take it seriously and deal with it. Missy's on point. All connecting minds. That's good. Yes. Minds. Thanks, Loretta. Really, sister. Anyway, everybody, Ozzy. Yes, you know, and I've been thinking about that. I don't know. Christianity has become such a tainted, bit dirty word, but you know, Christianity is. You don't need to belong to a church. I don't go to a church. Finding a good church I'm on the hunt for that too. one that doesn't have all kinds of political narratives spun into their stuff. Like, let's just talk about Jesus and what a good man that he was. And probably, mine shut down when I say that. I don't know. But, I've been thinking about praying at the start of a stream all the time. Like, just do a prayer before we start, because we all need God. I've been praying a lot with other people, and, not in a church or anything, just, friends. And it helps. It does, because it gives us hope that there is something that's bigger than us, much more powerful than this evil that thinks that they have power over this world, that they can act like God, they can play with genes and do stupid shit when God gave us everything. They're nothing. They're insignificant. And call them on their bullshit. They're hubris that they think that they have this power. They have nothing. Nothing. Sorry, what's that? Tracy, I missed that. Please check out Rebel News, not their information regarding this, but the comments and those commenting. I'll check it out. Rebel News has an agenda. And, I used to watch a lot of Rebel News. They do have very good stories, but of course they're going to have to do that. But they also have a very big agenda, and it isn't in Canadians' best interests, sadly. Even though I love some of their reporting. Why are they sitting out there kowtowing to the COVID nonsense? How about that? There's one. Why do they have fucking mics on sticks and masks and bullshit? Get out of here, man. Quit pushing the fear porn. That's part of it. It's an agenda. An agenda. Silver lining behind every cloud. We are in God's plan. God's in all of us. That's that. Do you know? That's what that little thing inside of me that says something's wrong, or you got to do something. You can't just sit here and not speak out or whatever. That's God inside talking to us. God. But we can listen to that. I listen to the world, because God speaks all over the world if you just listen and look closely. And I'm sure all of you do, right? You don't have a church, you follow the Bible. See, and the Bible gets tainted. You start looking at that, it's sad. Who is one of the biggest Bible producers? These things are all really, probably my mind. Shiny Things is one of my Zonder Bibles. Okay? Zonder Bibles. Who's Zonder Bibles? Zondervan, right? Getting a good Bible these days? Very difficult. Who is Zondervan? Well, they've got all kinds of Christian stuff. They're a very huge publicator. Zondervan, Wikipedia. Zondervan is an international Christian media publication located in Grand Rapids. Sounds good. Like it. They are part of HarperCollins Publishing, Inc. And multiple imprints, including Zondervan, all these other little groups that they have underneath them. Okay. And who owns them? Oh, News Corp. And then they go through and they rewrite the Bible. And they change things in the Bible. Pretty fucking spooky, man. You can't change Jesus's words. You can't change who Jesus was. The Son of God was God. And came and he spoke to us and told us what was going to happen. flips over the tables and the money changers. Here, actually, I'm going to play that. I'll play this. I don't know. Maybe this is too spicy. I don't know if I should play it. It was one of my videos that I had up earlier, and nobody really watched it. And I worked kind of hard. It was more of my old style of video making. And I don't know. Do you guys want to see it? Well, I made it because God told me to, I guess, in a way. Let's see. Where is it? Where was it here? Where did it go? Did they delete it on me? That would be nice. Oh, this is interesting. It's no longer here. I don't see it. Techno boomer. I don't know where it is. I think they deleted it. That's interesting. See, these things you never notice unless you go through and look. Give me a minute. See if I can find it. I'm pretty sure I should have it on my computer. Somewhere. I truly feel sorry for whoever has to deal with my computer when I'm gone. It's actually in my will, funnily enough. There's one person, only one person who gets to touch my computer. Where was it here? Working. Where was it? East Coast. Why is this not ordered correctly? What was the name of it? God, I don't even remember what the name was. Oh, come on. This isn't ordered in date. Let's say sort by date. It is sorted by date. Wow, I had some good hair in the old days. That's crazy. I have some good hair most days, I suppose. I don't know where that video is. That's pissing me off. The hell did I call it? Stats cam. Well, I can put on something in the meantime while I'm looking for it. Let's see. I used to like to make these little tweet things. God's money. No. Where's the little tweet things? The little tweet things were good. Oh, whole houses. Subvert. Oh no. Why is it not there? No, that's not it, I don't think. No. Titus 1:10. Oh, I'm losing people. Must be getting late. I can't believe that it's not on my site anymore. They've deleted it. Fuck me. That's crazy. They did this to me when before I quit. They deleted the last 6 of my videos and they didn't tell me. I guess they're still doing that. But I swore I had that on my computer. Is this it?
I think the Jews have to ask themselves the question, right? I think the Jews have...
Okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, again, I'm not throwing everybody in the same boat, but listen to the message. Yeah, get this out here. Where's that coming off? Sorry, it took me a while.
I think the Jews have to ask themselves the question, right? Is it that every time they've arrived as pitiful refugees in a country, after a few years, they have to move on? They don't seem to ask themselves that question. I know that I'm disliked as an historian. I know that I'm hated by some people, and I know the reason why, and I know what I could do to change it, instantly change my opinions. I'm not going to do it. They don't ask themselves what they could do to change the way that they are disliked.
I don't know. The proof is a proof. What kind of a proof? It's a proof. A proof is a proof. And when you have a good proof, it's because it's proof.
But I'm angry with some of the Jews. I'm very goddamn angry at some of the Jews. Hollywood is run by Jews. It's owned by Jews.
I love Brando. Oh! What year? Oh. Remember about the book burnings? There were students.
In 1933, in April, Nazi German students decided to organize a nationwide book burning program to eliminate foreign influence, to purify German culture as they saw it. The event that the students planned occurred on May 10th, 1933. In each German university city, 34 of them in all, thousands of people gathered together at a public place in which books that had been confiscated either by the students themselves or by Nazi party officials, often with the help of police, were brought and dumped in a pile. Student leaders exhorted their followers and the listening crowds to swear an oath by the fire to destroy and combat subversive and un-German literature.
For the national treason against our soldiers in World War I, we're burning Hemingway's books.
What?
We're burning Hemingway's books. We're burning Hemingway's books.
No, not burning Hemingway's books. And no.
Titus 1,
It wasn't Nazis, it was students.
King James Version. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things that they ought not to, for filthy lucre's sake. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, "The Cretians are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate."
It was almost time for the Passover festival, so Jesus went to Jerusalem.
found people selling cattle, sheep, and pigeons, and also the money changers sitting at their tables. So he made a whip from cords and drove all the animals out of the temple, both the sheep and the cattle. He overturned the tables of the money changers and scattered their coins. And he ordered those who sold pigeons
Get them out of here! Stop making my father's house a marketplace!
His disciples remembered that the scripture says, "My devotion to your house, O God, burns in me like a fire." The Jewish authorities came back at him with a question.
What miracle can you perform to show us that you have the right to do this?
Tear down this temple, and in 3 days I will build it again.
Are you going to build it again in 3 days?
It has taken 46 years to build.
How small-minded.
But the temple Jesus was speaking about was his body.
Anyway, and that was why I quit making YouTubes, because I started to learn a lot more, and who knows where things will take me from this point forward. But I just learned about how the people that play with our world and with our media and with write our history and the lies and things like that, and how they seem to operate from a different realm. And again, it's not to label all Jewish people, because you can't. But clearly the Pharisees were bad, and modern day rabbinical Judaism is based on Pharisees and Talmudic law. Talmudic law is man-made writings. And if there's Jewish people in that community, then like the RCMP, they have to speak up and say, we don't want that. We don't want... Oh, now I'm getting some problems with my stream. Isn't that interesting? So, I don't know. In order to change things, we have to clean up our own backyards. We have to admit when we're wrong, when we've made mistakes, and be honest and be true and hold what values we have: truth and honesty, purity, an aspiration for better things, not to be, how would you say, to act with hubris, that we are something that's above God. We're God's children, but he has the power. And I don't know. I'm not a hateful person, and I'm not a spiteful person. I'm not a bigot. I love all people. I don't like to see people suffer. And this world has been suffering for way too long, and it has to stop. And so even though I see things a lot bigger scale, and I see this case as demonstrative of the breakdown of our society. Am I saying that Jews did it? No, I'm not saying that Jews did it. I'm saying that the system that's in place needs to change. And we as people can change that. Anyways, hopefully I haven't offended too many of my wonderful viewers, you guys. I hope not. That's not my intent. My intent is to help a friend and clean up what I can do, which is very little. I only have my mind, to which half the time I think I'm losing it these days anyways, but that's my biggest weapon, is my mind. And I think collectively, as long as we don't fall prey, I used to put that in my descriptions, don't fall prey to the balkanization. The balkanization meaning dividing, having people infighting all the time. You know, it happens on YouTube, you know, people fighting and shit like that. If people are good, they'll collect together, they'll work together, and we can do that. We all can do that. So thank you very much. I think maybe I will. You know, like, I have to be true to who I am and what I believe. I think I will start every stream from now on with a prayer, you know. And if people think that that's bad or whatever, that doesn't, you have to be true to yourself and you have to speak your mind. And if you don't, well, you know, God remembers those who forget him too. So God bless you all. Take care. My prayers, my thoughts are with you. And thank you ever so much for a good evening. Take good care.